The Prime Universe, 2026, Sableman Island, Washington. We're looking down from the ceiling at a sparsely decorated lobby. A man stands, talking to a group of racially diverse, well-dressed, middle-aged men. We recognize the man talking as Vladimir Draculia, aka Mr. D, played in the film by Mads Mikkelsen, and in this reading by Dylan Roth.
Gentlemen, we all know this world is beyond saving, so I'm offering a new one.
A hologram pops up over the table in front of him. It's a diagram showing a tangled thread of timelines and a single line branching off from it, distinct but parallel.
Put simply, we created an exact copy of our universe, identical up until the moment of its creation. We call it the Pod Universe, and it is the exclusive intellectual property of Alter, my property. And now it's open to you for the right price.
The camera, still looking down from the ceiling, begins to retreat, pulling up through a ceiling air vent and revealing two women lying flat on their stomachs, watching the scene below. We recognize one as Stephanie Lee, played in the film by Chase Sui Wonders, and in this reading by Liana Santa Ana. The other woman is new. This is Xaria, played in the film by Vera Drew, and in this reading by Vera Drew. The two scoot back to an intersection in the vents, where there's room enough to sit up and face each other.
As soon as they move into the lab, we can crawl down and get out of here.
Out of here? Are you stupid? We have to get to Hela.
X, it's too late. We have to get off the island. They've taken the whole facility.
And whose fault is that?
What?
5 years, Steph. I spent 5 years building this place so we could finally put the world back together the way it was before. And then the literal moment we get the last piece of the puzzle, you go and use it on some comic book mission to another dimension. A mission that brought Alter and their goons straight to our door.
Steph is quiet, unable to dispute this.
So fine. I'm losing the island. I'm losing all the tech we invented here. I'm losing my team, but I'm not leaving here without Hela.
She crawls away from Stephanie down another duct.
Xaria, wait!
With one last regretful look back to their exit, Stephanie follows. The two of them crawl through a duct hanging over an enormous warehouse lab filled with server banks and computer consoles, all surrounding a big circular platform in the middle of the room. Mr. D has led his audience inside. He's still giving his pitch.
Until recently, we've been unable to send living tissue to the Pod Universe. Instead, we've had to settle for growing new bodies on the other side, and then transferring a subject's consciousness into it by reconfiguring the target's brain using microscopic wormholes. It's all very technical. I myself have been waiting to cross over until there was a less messy mode of transport.
Xaria and Stephanie proceed through the duct to a vent below them that leads right to the top of one of the server racks, close enough that they could jump down to it. Unfortunately, Mr. D is directing his audience's attention in their direction.
But now I finally have the means to instantly and harmlessly step through from one universe to the other. And, as an unexpected bonus, the means to bend it utterly to my will. And I'm feeling gracious enough to bring you all with me.
Stephanie listens from the duct.
Oh my god. They're doing it. A full evacuation.
Not without Hela, they're not. None of this works without her.
Down below, Mr. D gestures to the circular platform.
Gentlemen, shall I show you the door?
Just then, a man in a lab coat sprints across the lab, fleeing a pair of Alter goons with weapons.
Jameson, no!
The scientist runs past Mr. D and his audience before one of the goons stops, raises his rifle, and shoots him in the back. Everyone's attention is now drawn away from the duct where Steph and Xaria are.
You were supposed to have the lab under control before the tour.
I'm sorry, Mr. D. Some of the scientists are refusing to cooperate.
Steph and Xaria take their chance and hop down on top of the server.
My apologies, gentlemen. We very recently acquired this lab from an ex-employee of mine. You know how rocky these mergers can be. Rest assured, we are taking care of the dissidents both here and in the Pod Universe.
Stephanie hops down to the floor quietly. She reaches up to help Xaria down, but Xaria refuses her hand. She jumps down herself and lands sloppily, crashing to the floor with a smack. All heads turn to them.
Shit.
Get them! Alive!
Steph pulls Xaria to her feet and they sprint out of the room, 4 Alter goons on their tail. The goons reload in motion, replacing their ammo with less than lethal rounds. They open fire as Steph and Xaria zigzag through the hallways.
There!
Steph points to a room at the end of the hall labeled Security. They slam into the door and Xaria puts a code into the keypad. The door slides open. Inside is another computer terminal.
Hella, it's me. Lock the door and scramble the code now.
The door slams shut just as the goons reach it. They try unlocking it with the keypad to no avail.
As soon as they get a quantum handheld, we're cooked.
Xaria is at the terminal, plugging in a flash drive to a USB-C port. A window is open labeled HellNet V5.1. A voice speaks from the computer, performed here by Frankie Starker.
Xaria, what's going on? Who are all these strange men?
No time to explain. I need you to gather all your component files and move them to this drive, okay? I need you fully off the system.
What about my backups?
Delete them. We don't have time.
Xaria, I'm scared.
It's okay, Hella. It's all gonna be okay.
Stephanie points over Zaria's shoulder at something on the screen.
Wait, look.
What?
Altar's already hooked their system to it. We can access their files.
Steph, we don't have time.
Hella's still moving. Let me look.
Xaria sighs and gives Stephanie the console. She scrolls through the files. We don't see the screen, just their faces, the screen's reflection flickering in Stephanie's eyes. She stops on a single file, some sort of diagram, and both her and Zaria's mouths drop open.
Jesus.
We have to warn them.
No, we don't have time.
Xaria, that's 7 billion lives. We can't just do nothing.
Xaria chews her lip, debating. After a moment, she pushes Stephanie aside and takes her place at the console.
Hella, are the system's trans-universal capabilities still online?
Yes, but I don't have the capability of human transfer now that I'm no longer stored locally.
That's fine. What about a 60 megabyte zip file?
I believe I can do that. Where do you need it sent?
The pod universe, this address.
She types in Xaria at hellnet.zone. Then she drags in the file they were looking at. It's a zip file named project_tripod.
Can you do it, Hella?
Transferring now.
Stephanie and Xaria watch the file send as the guards still bang on the door behind them. They don't even notice.
Good luck, Xaria.
The camera zooms in on the computer monitor, entering the HellNet. We follow along the wires and circuits as the file makes its journey through the computer, a sequence of zeros and ones racing through the digital world. Eventually, the sequence approaches a large sphere of negative space, a wormhole between worlds, sucking up the data into its nothingness. Title card: War of the Worlds.
In 2022, two writers came together to finish what Universal Studios couldn't. A cinematic universe of monster movies called the Dark Universe. After 3 years and 30 scripts, their project was finally completed. Now, in 2026, they're back to attempt what's never been done before, a completely original cinematic universe entirely in podcast form. I'm Dalton DeShane.
And I'm Dylan Roth.
And you are now entering the Pod Universe.
Welcome to the Pod Universe. This is the podcast where we are writing an all-original science fiction cinematic universe entirely in podcast form. I'm your host.
Yep, true.
We had all
Patriot
this
Fact
time.
Check says that is true.
I am your, we do a bit here, and I got nothing. I all of my creative juices have been squeezed from my body.
You are our behoused host.
I am our behoused host, Dylan Roth.
And I am your flooded host, Dalton DeShane.
And we are very happy to be back.
We are finally here for War of the Worlds. Thank you for being so patient as we tried to get this one out the door.
Yes, for those of you who are longtime listeners, longtime watchers, we really appreciate your patience as this episode is coming to you like a month behind schedule.
At
right?
least.
A little bit more.
Yeah. Our last scripted episode was in March.
My goodness.
It is now June 28th.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Well, in between, Dalton and Sarah got married.
Yes.
They went on their honeymoon.
Yep.
Their basement flooded the moment they arrived on their honeymoon.
We
the
left
moment you left
for the honeymoon.
The basement flooded. That's the set that if you're watching the video version is this set right here was flooded.
If you're watching the video version, it's a goddamn mess in here. We've got the yellow couch doesn't go with our cool hues that we've had set up in the studio previously. It's uncomfortable to sit on. We're going to be replacing that. There's no coffee table, nowhere to put the bevies.
Yeah, our lighting situation is different.
Lighting situation is all fucked.
It was a disaster.
We need
it
the
was
insurance
really
money.
bad.
Yeah, it was
and
really,
now
really
I
bad.
think it's looking, pretty good. I think that someone who does not know what the set looked like before wouldn't look at this and be like, "What the fuck is going on here? Where's the
Well,
coffee table?"
I hope so.
For those of you who are brand new to the show, who are checking us out for the first time, welcome to the Pod Universe. You might already know that this is a show where we write and perform scripts that we are writing in one cinematic universe that is ongoing. Every script we write from one of us or the other is part of one larger design, while also hopefully working as individual movies. This is the season finale of season 1, where we do something special. We wrote one together.
Yep. Basically, if you're coming in for this one, this is the Avengers. This is our end of phase 1, where all the different threads that we have been setting up collide. But hopefully, similar to the Avengers, if that was your first Marvel movie, you wouldn't be completely lost.
Yeah.
We have tried to design this in a way that if this is your first Pod Universe movie, you may want to go back and listen to the previous entries.
And we hope you do.
And we hope you do, but hopefully it won't be required to enjoy what we're doing here.
Yes, it should be legible. It should be fun. We've provided some great opportunities for folks to get the information they need from the previous films in the context of this adventure. And we can talk a little bit about that right away because we introduced a new character already.
Yes, we have.
That was promised in a previous installment.
Yeah, and also teased if you listen to our Mummy episode where we revealed that cold open early. Xaria is a character who was mentioned in our previous film, Late Adopters, but is never actually seen. This is our first time seeing her, and it is friend of the show and director, writer, and star of The People's Joker, Vera Drew, who we have both fantasy cast as the Hollywood star leading this picture, and also actually cast.
Yes,
as
she
the voice
actually
actor.
did it. Yes. It's the very first time that's happened.
We love you, Vera.
In part because, for one thing, she's the right person for the job.
Yes.
It's the role. It really feels written for her.
I think we decided pretty earlier that we wanted her for it, and so we kind of did write it for her.
But also, this is the first time we've had like a big lead character in one of our imaginary movies who had not yet been fantasy cast in a previous script. So we had the opportunity to cast somebody that we knew and was available, and that would also be recognizable to some of the audience. Because, of course, some of the fun behind our fantasy casting is that you, the audience, can imagine said famous actor being in the movie. However, we do have a for realsies cast. Of local actors who are terrific, and we were so excited to work with. And you'll be hearing all of their names as they get introduced, and we'll give them a big shout out all at the end.
Yeah. For the big crossovers, the finales like this, we write them together. We also get the voice cast, which to help make it feel a little bigger, like an actual summer blockbuster.
Yes, it
which
should
we
be.
hope this
it should
is.
be epic.
It is
right?
a podcast blockbuster,
Yes.
fulfilling our promise of being movies in your ears.
Yeah, and frankly, the casts are so big that if it was just the three of us being the two of us, Dylan, Dalton, and Sarah
My wife.
Norcross, who's here on the couch.
Hello.
My wife, the first time I can say that, on the couch.
My wife.
That's right.
Actor, composer, writer, general bon vivant here on our couch, who generally doesn't like to say things between segments until she has the fully formed thought of how the episode is going. But
I told her not to talk.
Is that true?
that was my impression that you'd given me.
It's not something I've been
It
consciously
depends.
doing.
We're
Okay.
But I don't. That's true. I don't have anything to say about this. I've never read it.
Yeah, but that's also exciting for us because when we do this and we normally on a regular episode of the show, I have written a script or Dalton has written a script and the other has not read it before. And so we are creating an impression of the movie for ourselves as we go. We talk between acts and make predictions, give notes, say, I hope to see this resolved. I think we need a little bit more, a little bit less of so-and-so. And then when we get to the end of the movie, we get to see, well, were those goals met? Were these promises kept? And this time, Dalton and I have been working on this script for 2 months.
We've been working on it for more than 2 months.
More than 2 months. That's right. Probably about 3 months, right?
3+ maybe.
3+ months.
Because, okay, I mean, if you follow the show, you know this already. Writing this has been a beast.
Yes.
And part of that includes we had actually, we started writing it and got almost to the end of Act 1. We were probably 30 to 40 pages deep. And I ended up writing a little throwaway gag in a scene. And we'll reveal this all in our planning episode, which will come out after this. But a little throwaway gag that gave Dylan an idea that required we throw out the entire script and start from scratch. And so this has been the hardest. I think we would agree this is the hardest
one we've ever done.
I think either solo or together, the hardest script we've ever written. We wrote a lot of checks over the last 5 films that we now had to cash. And finding a way to do that was difficult. But I think because of that, our process was very different than it's ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I'm not, I hope we don't disagree on this, but I feel like mostly I was the one pushing us ahead and figuring out, okay, what comes next? Let me write the next thing. And you were sort of coming in and then being like, and letting me know what was working and what wasn't working, and being like, oh, actually, now that I see this whole thread needs to go, or I'm going to go back and like rewrite this arc going up here, or I'm going to remove this character altogether. And I'd be like, great, and just keep pushing forward. My job was taking all of the pieces and threading them together, and then you'd go and be like, we actually don't need this piece. We don't need this piece. We're better off without this piece, and tightening up the mess I was making as I was sort of plunging into the jungle with my machete.
Well, we had an interesting sort of twist on our usual collaborative process, where we've talked a little bit in the past how I feel like you are more of a plot smith.
Yes.
Right? You are good at creating ways for a story to move to a place, right? How do we get there? How do we make that journey interesting on like a beat for beat level? And I tend to really enjoy getting lost in what the characters, what it means to the characters, and how to keep them and their interactions interesting and related to that plot. But I don't always have great ideas about like what should actually fucking happen in the movie.
Well, I mean, there were a couple times where you would kind of go forward and you'd make a really great scene with our characters interacting and talking and stuff, and I'd be like, this is really great. Unfortunately, it's gotta go because it is not. We don't have time to. We just got everything's got to be a plot beat.
My 2 of my favorite scenes, one that you wrote and one that I wrote, ended up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
and I have gotten the cast to record them, so we'll put them out at some point.
They'll be in the bonus materials on Patreon. We'll have deleted scenes in there.
This script, as is 156 pages. Yeah, which is too long.
It's a lot of pages.
This is going to be a 2.5-hour film. I believe it is. I didn't check it against Hell on Earth, but I think it might be the longest script we've written. It might be. Hell on Earth should be longer.
Yes.
Hopefully Hell on Earth is longer. I
hope it's not as long as Hell on Earth. Hell on Earth, I'll flatter us by saying I think that script like deserved the length that it had.
Yes.
This one, you can tell us, but I think
we tried to cut out everything we could.
Everything that we didn't need is gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of this was, like you said, we wrote a lot of checks over the course of the previous chapters, right? And a lot of this process for figuring out this story was deciding which ones we didn't have to cash right now.
Yeah.
What are the ones that we really need to make this story work? And I think that the big change that came about was moving it from being an ensemble piece to being more of a movie centered on a single protagonist.
Yes, and we'll see that more in Act 1. So let's revisit that conversation.
Okay.
Because Act 1, I think, is going to show that a little bit more. But let's get into some expectations because, I mean, obviously, the wait has been very long. And so we have had fans reach out with expectations, things they want to see from this movie, a lot of joke predictions and things like that.
As always. We always love this feedback. Thank you, and keep it coming. If you are new to the show and all of this jibber jabber we're about to do about predictions and previous episodes is perhaps a little intimidating to you right now out of context, go ahead and use the time code in the description of the episode and jump right into Act 1. You can always revisit this later.
We are going to spread it out throughout the 2 parts instead of doing it all at the front. But I think there are a few topics that we should touch on before we start here. Also, I just want to say, so after these 2 parts, you're going to get, I referred to this a second ago, the planning episode, which we recorded at the beginning of all this.
Yes.
Where we sat down for the first time and tried to beat this out. And I can't wait to re-listen to it because I'm pretty sure
none of it.
I'm pretty sure everything we talked about got thrown out at some point.
Then we did another one talking about how we threw that one out and then planned another one, 40% of which we also threw out.
I think we kept probably most of the second movie, but not definitely
But
not
none
all
of the first one, right?
None of the
Except for
first
like
one.
maybe the absolute bullet points. And I think that's going to make that a fun episode because normally, we put out this episode and then we do the planning episode. And I think probably some folks skip it because they're like, well, it's just going to be them figuring out the story that they told us. This is not. This is going to be different. This is going to be a completely different story twice.
I'm going to set some expectations of myself for this episode, which is that Dalton and I talked about it before. And like, I'm probably not going to do as much commentary as I usually do because it feels very weird. Because usually, like, the setup of the show is one of you has written a script, and then the three of us are like talking about it, two of which have not written the script. And in this one, you two like slaved over something together, and then I'm coming in being like, I think so. I'm
the two of us
mostly-
leaving crushed.
Yeah,
I'm here for support and for line reads and for nodding, but I'm not gonna be as much of a stickler for anything.
We'll let the fans
But you
rip
guys,
us to
you guys
shreds.
can evaluate it. I put it in a nice way. You can evaluate it.
I
your
think
heart's content.
everyone trusts the audience to make their own decisions
Yes.
without guidance this time.
I want to reassure you, Sarah, if you don't like it, we'll still be married.
Yeah,
I won't divorce you for not liking War of the Worlds.
I might.
Let's get into our expectations. Yeah, we're all married together. By the way, when we did the wedding, we all got married.
Yeah, that was the
all
thing
three
we
of
were
us.
going to kind of keep under wraps until the night of.
Yeah, because Jenna wasn't a part of it. All right, let's talk about the Stonehammer. I think that was on a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
Because I think when we originally taped the Stonehammer, you were like, this is like Guardians. It doesn't have to fit in to our Avengers movie right away. We can tease this out. It can go longer. We can play the long game with it. But it's also a fan favorite episode from phase 1. And so we were kind of, is there room for the Stonehammer here? And you'll find out for yourselves. But Andy Who on the Discord planted her flag and thinks the Stonehammer gang will show up. And in fact thinks that in the first draft they didn't, but then we rewrote it so that they would be in it.
Okay.
Straight Gawning to Justice Smith on Discord thinks that they will show up and save the day. They'll be our Deus Ex Machina. Sam Vandervoort on Blue Sky thinks that we're going to reintroduce some of the world building that was cut from the original Stonehammer script because there wasn't time, and we'll instead do it here. A couple of people, including Foxtrosity BW Foxing Mall on Discord and
Jesus Christ.
Statmaster on Discord and also Zach on Blue Sky, think that they will make an appearance after the story is resolved. So either in a post-credit scene or right before the credits. Someone, I believe on Instagram or Blue Sky, thinks that there will be Lost Shepherd immigrants who have been on Earth this whole time, and they will be the secret to defeating the Prime Universe. So we don't need to get those characters exactly, but characters that will tie into the Lost Shepherd. Finally, Brainless Lungless Will on Discord thinks that Beepo will be revealed to be the main villain of the entire saga, our Thanos, if you will.
Beepo is right here.
There's Beepo. There's Beepo. Can we get a close-up of Beepo?
Did we cast the cat as Beepo?
Yeah, Holly's Beepo now. War of the Worlds will be about the Pod and Prime universes teaming up to face the Beepo-verse, where all the Beepos come from. So stay tuned to see if the Stonehammer cast makes an appearance. Some predictions about Mr. D. People were a little torn about Mr. D's involvement. We just saw him in the cold open. Again, Straight Gawning to Justice Smith on Discord thinks that this is going to be where his story ends. That he's going to die here, or he's not going to be like the big bad of the universe. This is going to be the end of Mr. D. Zach on Blue Sky thinks that Alter and Mr. D will be the main antagonist, which I think is pretty safe to bet, given that cold open. Brent Strosity Chopped on Discord thinks that he's playing both sides in the conflict and with an end goal of dominating both universes. And Bedivere on Discord thinks he won't show up at all, but he has already shown up.
Yep. Sorry, Bedivere.
Sorry, Bedivere.
Bet you feel stupid now.
No, Bedivere is a patron. Bedivere is beautiful and smart and intelligent and beautiful. And a final one I just wanted to address real quick. Executive producer Dick Wolf on Discord thinks that we would have added some late additions to the cast. Indy Navarrete, as seen in Obsession, and Sam Reed from The Vampire Lestat. I will say, as soon as I got out of Obsession, I texted Dylan dibs on Indy Navarrete. I already have plans for her, but in phase 2.
Gross.
But not
You
dibs.
can't-
Dibs casting
You
wise.
can't call dibs on a woman.
No, not like that. That's obsession behavior. That's something that Bear would do. Indy will be making an appearance in phase 2. Sam Reed, the vampire Lestat. Look, I would love to cast. I already cast Louis, though. I cast Jacob Anderson. I feel like I can't just cast every interview and Bailey Bass. I would be casting every interview with the vampire. I want to cast Eric Bogosian too, but I got to leave some for Dylan.
It is also funny that like I've cast most of the cast of Euphoria, a show I've never watched. But that's because that's what everyone has done for the past decade.
We got to
just cast the cast of Euphoria.
That's
in
true.
Things.
We got to get Dylan watching Interview with the Vampire.
I'll do it.
You got to get on it. And Widow's Bay.
I will do that too.
Okay. Anyway, should we get into Act 1? That's a lot of preamble.
Okay. Act 1. The Pod Universe, 2026, Seattle, Washington. Open on a messy bedroom. The blinds are drawn, sunlight just barely creeping in through the edges of the windows. Laundry coats every horizontal surface, with the exception of the computer desk, which is instead covered in tipped-over Mountain Dew bottles. A woman is asleep on the keyboard in front of a black monitor. Suddenly, the backlight of the monitor flips on, and 3 words appear in green font. Wake up, Neo. A moment later, the song Party Up by DMX blares out of the computer speakers at maximum volume. The woman jolts awake. It's Xaria, the Pod Universe version.
God damn it, Hella, what the fuck?
The window on the screen is labeled Hellnet version 0.3. Text appears on the screen.
Incoming encrypted message from Xaria at hellnet.zone.
You're hallucinating again, Hella. That's my address.
The text appears again, reiterating the message.
Jesus Christ, I'm not sending messages to myself. Stupid bitch.
The text appears a third time.
Okay, fine. Show me then. Let's see what I have to say.
The message appears on the display, showing project_tripod. But before Xaria notices it, she suddenly pushes away from the desk, holding her stomach. She grabs a small waste bin and vomits into it violently.
What the fuck?
She gets to her feet and walks away from the computer.
Hella, shut down.
The window closes, taking the tripod file with it.
Dolly!
We follow Xaria into the living room of a small 2-bedroom apartment that, unlike her room, is neat and tidy, like an adult woman lives here. In the adjoining kitchen is Dolly Abrams, a woman in her mid-30s wearing business casual, preparing a cup of coffee. She's voiced here by Dalton DeShane.
Dolly, do we have any more Pepto?
I have more Pepto. I had to go buy a new bottle after you finished my last one, without asking, by the way.
Don't be a bitch. I just puked in my trash can. May I please have some Pepto?
Sure. I'll just add it to your ledger.
Dolly, I'm sick. Okay? I've barely been able to keep down Gatorade and saltines. Why are you being like this?
It's the first, Czar.
Oh, fuck.
So yeah, I just paid our full rent out of my account. Again.
Look, when Hellnet is up and running, not only will you get all 6 months of back rent, I'll be so stinking rich. I'll buy you all the Pepto in the world, okay? I'll buy you Procter & Gamble.
Fuck Hellnet. You need to get a job. Hellnet's shittier than Siri and not getting any better.
She's not like Siri. She's not an LLM. She's an actual digital intelligence, a coded series of synapses capable of actual thought.
Dolly rolls her eyes and takes a seat at the kitchen table, where her laptop is open.
I'm late to a meeting.
Okay, fine. You want me to make money? I gotta work. You want me to work? I gotta be able to go 20 minutes without hurling.
Dolly groans.
Bottom drawer of my nightstand.
Thank you.
Xaria rushes off towards the cleaner of the 2 bedrooms.
And clean that trash can before the whole apartment smells like vomit.
Cut to Dolly's room, where Xaria opens the bottom drawer of the nightstand and retrieves an unopened bottle of Pepto-Bismol, then spies a bottle of ibuprofen and helps herself to a pair of pills, too. Xaria returns to the kitchen with the Pepto in one hand and her pilfered ibuprofen secreted in the other. She fills a glass of water from the sink and knocks the pills back. When she lowers her head, she sees something through the kitchen window. She peers through. From her POV out the 3rd-story window, we see a black man in a gray suit standing across the street, stock still, looking straight at her. Though he's far away and out of focus, we recognize him as Alano Bright, played in the film by Jacob Anderson and in his reading by Roberto Williams. Xaria cocks her head.
Who the fuck?
She spreads the blinds apart to see better. Alano smiles at her. He raises a hand and taps his finger to his ear. As soon as he does, her computer dings from her bedroom. She turns to the sound, and when she turns back, Alano is gone.
Creepy motherfucker.
Xaria goes to her room and collapses in front of the computer, chugging the entire bottle of Pepto. She reopens the Hellnet window. The tripod message is gone, relegated to her inbox and forgotten.
What is it, Hella?
You have a new message on your encrypted channel.
Oh yeah? Is it me again?
No, this is from an unknown number.
Hella, nobody has that address because you're still in alpha testing.
You have a new message on your encrypted channel.
And you'll never get out of alpha testing until you stop hallucinating messages.
She sighs and leans back in her chair.
Fine, I'll look for a stupid job.
She closes the helmet again, puts her laptop in her backpack, and leaves the room. Once she's gone, the camera lingers on a towering pile of laundry in the corner. A low hum fades in, just barely audible.
Outside, Xaria hops on an e-bike and takes off down the street. Cut to a shot from just behind the ankles of a man standing a few buildings down, watching her. As she leaves, he mounts an e-bike of his own and trails her. We don't see who it is. Cut to Xaria sitting in a coffee shop at her laptop, sipping the largest matcha latte they would make her. She still looks pale and sickly. Outside, we see an e-bike pull up, again from ankle height. The mysterious person chains it out front. The coffee shop entrance dings. Xaria doesn't turn around, but we see Liam enter behind her, played in the film by Jacob Batalon, and in this reading by Julian Fadulian. He takes a seat at a table facing Xaria, trying so hard to be inconspicuous that he is incredibly conspicuous. Xaria has Indeed open on her laptop, scrolling through job postings.
40 hours a week? Whatever happened to work-life balance?
She glances up and notices Liam staring right at her. He points at her computer, trying to communicate something. She looks around, trying to figure out if he's talking to someone else. He points again, then puts his hand up to his face like a telephone. Then he gives a big, dramatic wink. Xaria recoils and switches her seat so her back is to him. She goes back to scrolling Indeed. She takes another sip of matcha and looks out the front window of the cafe. She freezes. Alano is standing across the street again, looking at her.
Son of a bitch.
She slams her laptop into her backpack and runs out of the coffee shop. Liam taps the AirPod in his ear.
She's on the move. I repeat, Subject X is on the move. I didn't do anything. She just bugged out and ran.
Cut to Xaria pursuing Alano as he walks calmly down the street away from her.
Hey, come back here.
Before she gets to him, he steps onto a city bus. She reaches it just as the door closes. Alano stands on the other side, looking at her through the glass. She slaps her palm on the door as the bus starts to pull away.
Who the fuck are you, dude?
She jogs alongside the bus. Alano smiles through the glass, holds out his palm in front of him, and taps it with his finger. Xaria's phone dings in her pocket. This distracts her for a moment, and just as she breaks eye contact with Alano, the bus pulls away from her. Xaria bends over with her hands on her knees, exhausted. After a moment, she pukes green into the gutter. Xaria catches her breath, then checks her phone. She has a new message from an unknown sender. You're a better programmer than you think. Trust Hella.
The next day, Xaria wakes up shivering in bed, some dried vomit in the corners of her mouth. She's gotten worse. Cut to the kitchen. Xaria once again shambles in, half alive. Dolly is at the kitchen table, working at her laptop as usual. She turns to acknowledge Xaria and is taken aback by her appearance.
Oh, wow. You look awful.
Aw, thanks, honey. I'm just here for some water. You can add it to my bill or whatever.
Hey, I didn't mean to be so harsh yesterday. I know you're trying.
Xaria puts a hand up as if to say, it's fine, though her face doesn't seem to agree. Dolly turns back to her computer and sighs. There's no winning here. Xaria returns to her bedroom with a fresh glass of water. She's hit by a wave of smell and makes a face, then opens up the window to let some fresh air in. She opens the helmet, and Hella immediately says,
You have a new message on your encrypted channel.
Right, this shit. Fine, whatever, open it.
A message appears from an unknown sender. It reads,
Xaria, you need to get out of there.
The fuck?
Another message.
Your home is not safe. You have to leave right now.
Xaria gets up from her chair and crawls over her bed to look out the window to where Alano was standing the previous morning. There's no one there now. There is, however, an e-bike leaning against a lamppost.
Hella, speech to text. Who are you?
On the computer, Hella types Xaria's question into the text thread. A moment later, it pings back. Hella reads it aloud to Xaria, who still looks out the window.
There's no time. Get out of your apartment and I'll explain everything.
Fuck you, Captain Cryptic.
I know why you're sick.
Xaria freezes, then slowly turns around to look at her computer. She approaches the monitor and looks at the text for herself. Another message.
It's not a stomach bug. You're being attacked.
Attacked?
Search your bedroom. Look for a heat source.
Cautiously, Xaria steps back from her computer and starts wandering her laundry-covered bedroom. She gravitates towards her closet, pushing sweatshirts and blankets out of the way so they can swing open for the first time in days. She slides aside a row of coats to reveal something resting on the floor of the closet. Something impossible. A vantablack orb of nothingness, about the size of a volleyball. There's a faint purple halo around it, and the light bends at the perimeter, distorted by its gravity field. Astonished, Xaria's hand drifts towards it out of pure wonder. Her skin bristles as it approaches, and she recoils. She stumbles back, doubles over, then rushes to the wastebasket and vomits.
Did you find the pod?
Pod? What was that thing? What's happening to me?
First things first. Pack up what you can and leave immediately.
Cut to the kitchen. Dolly is on a Zoom meeting wearing a warm professional smile.
I think we can still make our deadline if...
She freezes mid-sentence.
Dolly, are you okay? I think we lost her.
Extreme close-up on her eye as her iris tightens. Back in the bedroom, Xaria grabs a backpack and stuffs it with cables, prescription bottles, and whatever clothes from her floor smell the cleanest. She's about to shut her laptop so she can pack it away when it occurs to her...
Wait, my roommate Dolly, is she in danger?
A pause. We watch the cursor blink on her screen.
I'm sorry, Xaria. Your roommate is already gone.
What did you... She's here, I just saw her.
Xaria, is everything all right?
See, that's her now.
That's not Dolly. Lock the door.
What are you talking about?
Lock the door right now.
The doorknob starts to turn. Xaria dives for it, rams her shoulder against the door, and turns the lock. Woozy, Xaria leans against the door, breathing heavily. There's no more sound from the other side. Xaria is knocked backwards by the force of someone ramming their entire body into the door.
Dolly, what the fuck?
Xaria, get out of there right now.
The door bulges off its hinge.
Now, Xaria!
Xaria zips the laptop into her backpack. The door comes crashing into the room. Xaria jumps backwards onto her bed, narrowly avoiding being crushed as Dolly charges in, her shoulder bruised and pocked with wooden splinters. Their eyes meet. Xaria's are terrified. Dolly's are narrowed, focused, yet emotionless.
Dolly?
Without a word or even a grunt, Dolly leaps at Xaria. Xaria dives flat onto her bed. Dolly flies over her and straight through the open bedside third-story window. Cautiously, Xaria rises to her hands and knees and leans her head out the window. A hand reaches up from below and grabs her by the hair. Dolly hangs onto the outer ledge with one hand, pulling herself up on just that one arm, while her other reaches up for a fistful of Xaria's hair. Inside, Xaria holds tight to Dolly's clenched fist, trying to keep her hair from tearing off her scalp. She braces her feet against the interior window pane to keep from tumbling out.
Dolly, stop!
Dolly looks back up at her, determined. Xaria's knees buckle. Her feet lose their grip on the window pane. She is flung out the window. She reaches out and manages to grab Dolly's ankles. They hang there from the third-story window. Xaria looks down at the grass below, sizes up the distance, and drops. She lands hard on the ground and immediately vomits again. While her head is down in the grass, an e-bike pulls up next to her.
Hey.
She looks up to see a sweaty and bruised young man in a helmet and sunglasses. Vincent Estrella, played in the film by Justice Smith and in this reading by Chris Myers.
Let's get you out of here.
30 feet up, Dolly swings back and forth from the windowsill, building lateral momentum. She lets go, hitting the grass 10 feet away with a perfect shoulder roll and returning to her feet without flinching. Her eyes remain totally focused on Xaria. Xaria watches in shock, then grabs Vincent's hand. She climbs on the bike behind him, and he kicks on the motor and throws open the throttle. They take off down the road. Behind them, Dolly starts sprinting. The speeding e-bike turns onto the busy main street. Vincent weaves through traffic with the skill of someone who gets chased a lot. Pedestrians dodge and shout, looking ahead after the bike with irritation before being bowled over by a sprinting Dolly who doesn't even flinch. From the bike, Xaria looks astonished as Dolly, on foot, seems to be keeping pace.
What the fuck? What's going on? What's wrong with Dolly?
I told you that's not Dolly. Not anymore.
Behind them, Dolly crashes through the patio of a restaurant, knocking over a table onto a frail old man. A nearby customer who looks like he played college football grabs Dolly's wrist and yanks hard, breaking her stride. Hey! Barely registering the nuisance, Dolly grabs a knife from off of one of the dining tables and slashes it across his wrist. He lets go and she keeps running after the bike, not wasting another glance. The bike swerves into a park, speeding down a steep grassy hill. Above and behind, Dolly sprints steadily, knife still in hand. While she has the high ground, without breaking stride, she readies the knife like a javelin and hurls towards the bike. Xaria, looking backwards.
Look out!
Vincent swerves. The knife whizzes past Xaria's ear and embeds itself in the trunk of a nearby tree.
They hit the bottom of the hill at a reckless speed. Vincent cranks the handlebars, skidding the back wheel around behind them and executing a 90-degree turn out of the park and onto a stretch of shops and eateries. In front of them, individuals emerge from the businesses all down the street, their faces blank, grabbing whatever they can find to use as a weapon. They stand in staggered positions in the middle of the street, facing down Vincent and Xaria.
Who the fuck are they?
Shit, more prime drones.
Like, from Amazon?
Even more evil. Don't worry. Backup is on the way. Right, Steph?
Cut to the inside of an unmarked white panel van, looking over the shoulder of the driver. She's racing at top speed, dodging the cars in her way.
Never not right on time.
She twists the wheel and comes screeching out onto the other end of the street Vincent and Xaria are riding down. She doesn't slow at all, mowing down the stanced-up drones one at a time, crushing them under the van.
Holy shit, did she just murder?
They were dead already. I'll explain later.
Explain now!
No time!
The van is still racing straight toward them. Vincent doesn't slow either. At the last second, the driver of the van slams the brakes, cranks the wheel, and the van turns around 180 degrees and stops in front of them. The back doors open just as Vincent pulls to a stop. The driver turns to face them, revealing Stephanie Lee, the Pod Universe version.
Get in!
Another knife flies by Xaria's head. Dolly is closing the gap on them fast. Vincent pulls the bike away from the van.
See you back home.
Wait, Vincent!
He pulls off in one direction, and after a moment, Stephanie races off in another. Xaria looks behind them at Dolly still chasing, not flagging at all. There's a distant sadness in her eyes.
Dolly, is she one of those drones too?
Yes. Her mind's been overwritten. Now she only wants one thing. To kill you.
There's a sudden cracking sound, and the handlebars kick back and forth in Vincent's hands. The front wheel is popped.
Shit! Willie, are you still in position for Plan B?
Cut to a man sitting perched on a 5th-floor windowsill of a hotel. He has a rifle with a scope attached in his hands. He's a tall, broad-shouldered, leading man type, played in the film by Charles Melton, and in this reading by Julian Fadulian. We've known him by a few names, but today, he's Willie.
In position, but still not feeling confident. Let's maybe use me as a last resort, yeah?
Back to Vincent, who's still trying to push the bike as fast as it can handle. Dolly is rapidly catching up, a new knife in her hand.
Trust me, you are the last resort.
Cut to Willie, who mouths a discouraged fuck to himself, then raises the scope to his eye. Through it, we see Vincent and Xaria emerge on a street a few blocks away.
Okay, I got you in my sight.
Cut to Stephanie behind the wheel of the van.
Remember what we practiced. Deep breaths, calm mind, aim where she'll be, not where she is.
Right.
Back to Willie. He gets the gun in position, handling it awkwardly.
I do not aim with my eye. He who aims with his eye hasn't read enough Stephen King books. Here we go.
He pulls the trigger. It clicks.
Willie?
Hold on, forgot to turn the safety off.
He fumbles with the rifle again. On the street, Dolly's getting dangerously close. Xaria presses herself against Vincent's back to dodge her swipes. They're approaching a tall building which will block Willie's view of them.
Running out of time, Willie.
Hold on!
He positions the rifle again, takes half a deep breath, then says,
Yeah, fuck it.
And fires. The shot wings Dolly in the shoulder. She drops the knife and spirals away from the force, tumbling to the ground. Vincent spots a couple of discarded rent-to-use electric scooters on the corner.
Good enough. I'm gonna lose comms for a minute, but we're heading back to base.
Roger that. Cora, ready the welcome wagon.
Vincent and Xaria hop off the bike and onto the scooters as Dolly gets back to her feet. They zoom off and the chase resumes.
Don't worry, we're almost there.
Zaria follows Vincent as he pulls into the parking lot of what used to be the Elmwood Park Mall, but now seems totally abandoned.
Don't slow down, we're coming in hot.
Oh, okay.
Vincent hunches his shoulders, leaning into the wind, and speeds straight towards a set of double glass doors. Xaria mimics him. She squeezes her eyes shut as they get close, but before they crash into them, the doors are pushed open by a young black woman. This is Cora Winters, played in the film by Bailey Bass, and in this reading by Anique Evans. Vincent and Xaria zoom past her on either side, the wind in their wake ruffling her hair. Dolly is still running straight for Cora. She pulls her good arm back, ready to throw the knife.
Oh shit.
In the instant before she throws it, Stephanie's van charges into frame from the left, hitting Dolly in the side at maximum speed. She flies into the air, her spine colliding with a lamppost. She falls 10 feet to the ground, dead. Stephanie and Willie climb out of the van. Cora follows them inside, where Xaria is leaning on her scooter, out of breath. Cora beams.
My god. It's really her. It's Xaria.
Xaria looks at them, then through the glass doors at Dolly's body. Her vision blurs. She stammers.
Careful, she's about to...
Xaria faints and falls to the ground. Cut to black.
Fade back in on a view of a peaceful summer sunset. Close up on Xaria's eyes as they slowly open, then pull back to find that she's floating on her back in the ocean, her hair splayed all around her like a crown. Confused, she leans upright and starts treading water. On the horizon, there is a beach, too far away to make out any details.
What is this?
Hello, Xaria.
The voice seems to come from nowhere.
Don't be frightened. Everything's okay. You're safe with us.
Who are you? What is this?
This is a memory. Your memory. Do you recognize it?
Yeah, that's Sableman Island. My grandpa used to live there. I'd swim out really far sometimes just to be alone.
You're not alone now, Xaria.
The sun disappears below the horizon and the stars above become brilliant and bright. The cosmos reflects off the surface of the water. Then the water fades away and Xaria is floating in space.
This isn't a memory.
No, it isn't.
Xaria turns around to find the source of this second voice. It's Vincent, floating alongside her.
It's the universe. Well, a universe, one of many. Most of them identical, except at the subatomic level.
Vincent flicks his wrist, and a macroscopic hydrogen atom appears floating above his palm. Around its nucleus, a tiny electron revolves in 3 dimensions so quickly that it looks more like a cloud than a particle.
Electrons move so fast that they're functionally in multiple places at once. And for every possible location of every electron in existence, that's one universe.
Another hand reaches into frame, penetrates the electron cloud, and pinches it in its fingers. The cloud disappears, replaced by a single glowing dot, held in place between 2 fingertips. We follow the hand to an arm on the shoulder of Stephanie Lee.
This one's us.
In her other hand, she brandishes a glass vial with silver caps on both ends. At a glance, it looks empty.
Isolated and held in place thanks to this little freak of nature.
We zoom into the vial, deeper and deeper, until we finally find a single dot of black against the skin on Stephanie's hand.
Dark matter.
We zoom out and find Stephanie still holding the vial of dark matter, but she's no longer floating in space. Now she's standing in a crowded altar laboratory, rushing around and plugging wires into an enormous machine.
My name is Stephanie Lee. About 5 years ago, I participated in an experiment using dark matter. We were trying to isolate a pocket universe, a controlled environment to house a quantum computer processor.
One of Stephanie's colleagues throws a switch, and nothing seems to happen. Stephanie throws her tablet to the floor in frustration.
We thought the experiment failed, but that's only what it looked like from here.
The image glitches, and suddenly the scene in the laboratory shifts from defeat to celebration. Scientists hug and cheer. Champagne is uncorked.
In some other reality, the experiment succeeded, and the universe they created
Back to the abstract space with Xaria, Stephanie, and Vincent.
was ours.
They call it the pod universe.
So, our world isn't real?
Of course it is. It's an instance of the multiverse just like any other, only it's been isolated, cut off from its origins, dispatched onto its own path.
Which is lucky,
It's a new voice.
because the situation in the Prime universe was about to go south.
We whip to a new location, Chicago, or what's left of it. What used to be the bustling Chicago Loop is now a decrepit tent city where malnourished serfs are lorded over by skyscrapers sporting armored security and the glowing altar logo.
That quantum computer that Stephanie was trying to build, it never worked in the pod universe. But where I'm from, it destroyed everything. Technological overreach crashed the economy, leaving billions starving at the mercy of a handful of trillionaires running feudalism 2.0.
At street level, we see Cora looking up at the snipers above.
Where you're from? You mean...
That's right. I'm from the other universe, the one we call the Prime universe. And where I'm from...
We watch Cora raise a hood over her head and slip away into an alley. There, a group of young people are painting a colorful mural. She looks up at it and smiles. Behind her, Xaria steps forward, just as we last saw her floating in space. No one else in the scene acknowledges her. She looks up at the mural, agape. It's a massive portrait of herself. Beneath her face, in bold, the word freedom.
You're kind of a big deal.
Me? Why? How?
The Cora in the memory now turns and speaks directly to Xaria, picking up where the voiceover left off.
In my world, you're not just a famous hacker and programmer. You're a symbol of the resistance against the oligarchs. You and your creation, Hellnet, a true artificial intelligence, a sentient, compassionate neural network capable of outsmarting our oppressors at every turn. The Xarians were the only hope in a hopeless world.
The Xarians?
Stephanie and Vincent step into the scene.
I have a hard time believing it too, but in the Prime universe, you're a cult hero, and I'm your right-hand woman.
They got so bad for the oligarchs that they decided to jump ship to our universe.
The scene shifts again to the Allison Estrella Memorial Community Garden, as seen in Pod People. Vincent waves goodbye to his father, Christian, in the garden. We watch a time-lapse of a black orb growing in the soil beneath Christian, just like the one in Xaria's room.
They didn't have the technology to just walk through to our dimension, so they started using wormholes, those pods like the one in your apartment, to sample DNA from their pod universe counterparts.
Left alone, Christian becomes sick and frail, collapsing into the dirt.
Growing new bodies for themselves at the expense of their doppelgangers. They did it to my dad.
We see Vincent's memory of Christian lying in hospital bed from radiation poisoning. Vincent holds Christian's hand, and then we whip to a scene of a healthy, cold-blooded Christian pointing a gun right at the camera. We/Vincent/Xaria flinch away, and we fade through white to a TV broadcast from the White House Rose Garden.
And every other uber-rich or influential bastard who could afford the process, from heads of major corporations to the President of the United States.
Pull back, and we're watching this broadcast from a TV on the wall of the coffee shop that Xaria visited earlier. Across the shop, right where we last saw him, is Liam, the would-be spy. He turns to Xaria, sitting in her usual seat, and speaks.
It didn't take them long to realize that they could use this same technique to put themselves in copies of other bodies, which is what they did to me when they sent me here to work for them.
Liam gets up and walks into a corner of the room that isn't a coffee shop anymore. It's a hospital room. He looks at himself, played by Jacob Batalon, in a full-length mirror wearing a hospital gown. He reaches for his reflection, pressing his hand against the mirror. A pair of armed guards pull him away and drag him towards a machine that we barely get a look at. A flash of light later, he's limping off the floor of an unfamiliar bathroom and stands naked in front of a mirror. Now he's Willie, played by Charles Melton, and examines his face and sculpted body with a mix of horror and fascination. Xaria approaches him.
Wait, you and that coffee shop creep are the same guy?
We're nice, actually. I'm his dupe from the Prime universe, but they put me in a different body instead. They called it an upgrade. I never wanted this, but at least it means that my pod universe counterpart, Vincent's boyfriend Liam, is still alive.
Flash to a memory of Vincent's, a tearful goodbye with Liam, who stays behind as the rest of the gang loads into a van.
Liam's managed to stay off of Alter's radar, so he's become our agent in the outside world.
Vincent, eyes still on Liam, backpedals towards the van and knocks into Willie, who reflexively catches him in his arms. Vincent looks up at him, blushing, then back over at Liam, who wears a sad and anxious expression.
Up until now, coming here from the Prime universe always meant sacrificing someone on our side, and it could never be done in mass.
The scene shifts again, and Xaria, Vincent, Stephanie, Cora, and Willie all step onto the shores of Sableman Island, where there is now an advanced scientific laboratory building.
But you changed all that. You and Stephanie, you and Stephanie from the Prime universe, finally developed a working doorway, a portal from the Prime universe to the Pod universe.
The party enters the building and looks down from a catwalk to a large circular platform. There stands another Stephanie, the Prime variant, and Cora. Machinery whirs to life, and a black disk of nothingness appears in its center. Stephanie steps into the portal, but Cora pulls her out and jumps ahead of her, disappearing into the black.
But they could only get it to work once. That's how I came here.
Through white, we fade back into the cosmos, where Xaria, Stephanie, Vincent, Willie, and Cora stand on a reflective black floor surrounded by stars.
So what is here? Is this another universe?
No.
The voice from the beginning of this vision returns, and finally has a source. Enter Caitlin Wheeler, played in the film by Kristen Milioti, and in this reading by Sarah Norcross.
This is a dream.
Sharp cut to Xaria waking up with a start. She's lying back in a Herman Miller chair with a device on her head that looks like a claw from an arcade game designed to fit onto someone's skull. She whacks the thing off her head like it's a tarantula. Xaria looks around. Her chair is in the center of a thoroughly picked over empty radio shack. Standing all around her are the 5 figures from her dream, none of whom are wearing any equipment. They blink rapidly and stretch like they've also been asleep, despite the fact that they've all been standing. Cora rubs at the back of her neck, where there is a recently healed surgical scar. Caitlin leans over Xaria with a flashlight, checking her pupils.
I'm sorry if that was a little jarring, but you passed out when you arrived, and we knew we were going to need to use direct memory transfer to explain all of this anyway, so we figured, why wait?
Can you give me some fucking air, dream lady?
Of course. And I'm Caitlin, by the way. Dr. Caitlin Wheeler.
A 3-year-old boy, Raleigh, emerges from a bathroom marked for employee use only with a smile on his face and his pants around his ankles. Xaria blinks aggressively like she thinks she might still be dreaming. Raleigh runs up to Caitlin, giggling. Caitlin bends down to pull up his pants.
And this is my son, Raleigh.
You brought a toddler to a war?
It's a long story, and it's not a war exactly. War's too loud a word for an invasion this quiet.
I know this is a lot to take in. Trust me. We've all had a hard time of it.
Xaria lies still, processing everything she's just seen.
What about the tall guy from the bus?
Everyone looks around, unsure what she's talking about.
In the gray suit, likes to stare from across the street?
Several of them shake their heads, but not Vincent. He makes eye contact and nods at her in a way that says, let's talk about that later.
So you're all what, like cisgender animorphs?
Ooh, yeah. I'm like Tobias, stuck in the Hawk's body.
Back off. She's ours.
Look, we're sorry you got involved. Honestly, we had no idea you existed until Cora got here. But it seems like it was just in time. Another day in that apartment and it would have been too late to save you. So what do you say? Will you help us?
Xaria's expression has shifted. She looks like she's remembering something long forgotten.
Wait, so there's another version of me out there, and she might have a way of sending things to this universe?
Cora nods. Xaria sits up straight.
I need to check my email.
Cut to Xaria setting up her laptop at the counter of the Radio Shack. Vincent runs a long HDMI cable to mirror her desktop to a big TV for the whole gang to see. Xaria opens Hellnet, then the message from her own address that she received before she started getting Vincent's messages. She clicks the attached zip file, project_tripod. The crew watches intently as the package unzips. The progress bar might as well be a countdown to the apocalypse. A cascade of files open. Blueprints for a massive, 3-legged antenna looming over a human silhouette for scale. Alter's logo is plastered all over the plans.
What the hell is that?
It looks a lot like the portal that brought me here. The one that Stephanie and Xaria built.
I've never built anything like this.
Is Alter building their own portal?
It's not just a portal.
Caitlin steps forward, child in her arms, a look of shock on her face.
It's a signal amplifier. Not for one big wormhole, but for billions of microscopic ones.
How can you know that?
I recognize it. It's not just Xaria's tech, it's mine. They could use this to rewrite every human brain within 20 miles in a matter of seconds.
She looks to Xaria apologetically.
They could do what they did to your roommate to an entire city.
On Stephanie.
Well then, Xaria, you asked if we were at war. Now it's a war.
End of Act 1. All right, that is Act 1 of War of the Worlds. It feels good to finally have some of it down on wax.
You guys get all that?
Yeah, there's the big info dump.
Yes.
I don't feel like it's worth it to recap it all because you can just go back and listen to it again if you need to.
It's all there.
It's also all in like the previous 4 movies.
Yes.
So ideally, if you're someone that has been following the pod universe, none of that was new information to you.
Working with our cast of actors, going through that scene was an important confidence-building moment, at least for me.
They understood it.
That I was like, do you feel like you get it? And it's possible that they lied to me. I wouldn't be able to tell. They are, after all, professional actors.
Yeah, we are, and we are paying them. So
yes,
so
I'm aware that perhaps they could just being nice to me. But they told me they got it.
There's 2 universes, and one is trying to invade the other.
And we're always looking for like my favorite exposition scene in any science fiction movie is and will probably always be the construct scene from The Matrix. Yep. And this will be the second time I've tried to do the construct scene from The Matrix.
We like to make it visual, even though this is an audio medium.
Yes, if it's supposed to be a movie, then we want to deliver this information to you in a way that you can see how it would be cool to look at.
Yeah.
Not just to have us explain it to you. Hopefully that worked. Leave us in the comments if you think it worked or if you think it didn't work.
There's one prediction that I want to check in on right now, because there's one that a lot of people made jokes about.
Okay.
Which was that our War of the Worlds would somehow be connected to the Amazon Prime War of the Worlds that came out last year, regarded as one of the worst movies ever made, and prominently features an Amazon drone saving the day. Jokers out there include Tulok the Barbarian, Lobstillation Trailer, Jevon, FNEX 101, Brevin, Lemonhead in a Cave, all of them from Discord, as well as Film School Snob on Instagram, all talking about, oh, there'll be a cameo from Ice Cube. Ice Cube will get killed in it, or we'll have Amazon drones. And I swear to God, Dylan can vouch for me on this. It did not occur to me until maybe 3 days ago that we have Prime drones.
Yeah.
We call it because they're from the Prime universe, and they're drones because they've been running
rewritten.
these automated tasks.
They're no longer like people.
So we called them Prime drones, and I knew at the time I wrote the Amazon joke in of like Amazon? No, even more evil.
But
I didn't think about the Amazon War of the Worlds, which has Amazon Prime drones in it.
So have you seen that movie?
No.
Me neither.
No, but I've seen that.
Because why would I do that?
I've seen the drone scene because everyone's like posting it on social media. Yeah, but so yes, our movie does also have Prime drones in it, but an unintentional reference to the Amazon War of the Worlds. So now we borrow from both the Jules Verne classic by having the tripods, and the Ice Cube classic by having Prime drones.
And there is sort of a nod to the Spielberg version ahead, I think in part 2.
Is there?
Yes, not a very direct one.
Okay.
But there was something where we talked about a certain plot development. I said, "Oh, that's great," because that kind of feels a little reminiscent of the Spielberg version.
Oh, okay.
So if you can guess what that is, then you have magic powers, because Dalton didn't even know.
I did not clock it. And I like Spielberg. I love Spielberg.
That movie is interesting.
Yeah,
not in my top 5.
Not in my top 5. It's my 4th favorite Alien movie of his.
Okay.
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Are we counting AI as one?
No.
Okay. Now I'm curious.
E.T.
E.T. number 1.
Close Encounters.
Close Encounters number 2.
Disclosure Day.
Disclosure Day.
War of the Worlds. Crystal Skull.
I forgot about the Crystal Skull completely, which means it's currently my number 4 because I have yet to see Disclosure Day.
Yep.
I'm not a big E.T. guy.
But enough Spielberg talk.
No.
I think we should talk now.
Stay tuned to the bonus pod
about why we threw out our first act and started over. So basically, our first act original version was very much just kind of putting the team together thing. It was an ensemble piece. We started with the team we already had, which was like Vincent, Stephanie, Willie, and Caitlin, because Caitlin gets recruited in the post-credits of Merge Conflict. And then it was kind of about Cora arriving, and Cora gives some info, and then through Cora, they decide to reach out to this version, Xaria, and then I wrote something. I wrote the introduction of Xaria scene, probably 30 pages. And you're actually going to hear in the planning episode, we were unsure if Xaria was going to be in this movie at all.
Yeah.
I wrote an introduction to Xaria, thinking that at one point we might just cut her from the movie completely because she wasn't a main character. We were like, maybe she'll show up for like the first adventure and then we'll write her out or something. So I wrote this introduction to Xaria, and you read it, and then you tell me what happened.
I said, I know it's way too late to think of this, but you know that thing sometimes where you start writing something, and then someone in your workshop group or whatever say, that's great, but your book starts on page 30. I think our book starts on page 30, and I think it would be way more efficient if she was just the viewpoint and main character of the movie.
Because I had written that bit that's still in this draft, the Wake Up Neo, just a joke of like she gets woken up by her Hellnet, by the computer, and it says Wake Up Neo. And that made you think of the Matrix. And then you were like, oh, no, Xaria should be Neo.
Yes. I think that, as I was saying, the construct sequence is the centerpiece of one of the most brilliant and efficient and evocative world-building sequences in like an action movie. The structure of that movie, in some ways, is really simple. It is a hero's journey type thing.
Yeah.
And having that really simple spine and a kind of really simple character in the middle of it allows you to adorn it really well with all these crazy ideas, because no matter what, you still have, okay, I am following this character who doesn't understand this either.
Yeah.
And we have to explain that all the essentials of that character, and whatever sticks to that character is the stuff that's important. And then we just follow them through. Ended up, I think, being the only way we could digest all the stuff that we needed to put in the movie.
Yeah.
Because we'd set it up in 5 other movies.
We had, like, we've talked about, like, so many check boxes to check. And not only that, but we wanted to give all the lore to, like, a first-time viewer or listener, but we had all these characters that already knew everything.
Yeah.
So we had a difficult time trying to figure out how to explain everything. And in part of it, Mr. D just does a big info dump in that first scene to all these investors and oligarchs and stuff. But then that made our cold open. The cold open didn't have any of the Stephanie Xaria stuff. It was basically just Mr. D giving a PowerPoint presentation, essentially. A PowerPoint presentation on what the pod universe. It was a literal PowerPoint presentation.
I mean, at some point, like,
Here's
the
what the pod
wall was
universe
going to
is.
open up, and then here's this big laboratory or something. Or I think there was a plane ride.
It was a hologram presentation.
It was way too much.
But it was a lot. And so then, yeah, Dylan had this idea of, like, no, let's have Xaria. Xaria should just be the main character, and we follow Xaria. And Xaria learns this as the audience does. And from there, I think, yeah, we basically, the Wake Up Neo is our only, like, Matrix reference, but we just made this a hero's journey.
Yes.
Because we had so much to do. Okay, let's take Xaria. We're going to give her a very classic hero's journey, and everything else will just happen around that. So that's what we did. That's why we open on Xaria. She doesn't know any of this stuff. She gets suddenly immersed in this new world that she didn't know existed. She's just been given all this information. She finds out that she's really important. She's the one, if you will.
Right, of course.
You
And
know?
this is like like the reason why this is such a sticky and popular trope in cinema and stuff is, like, yeah, there is a degree of wish fulfillment there. Everybody in some part of them wants to believe that they're special.
Yeah.
And they have some unfulfilled potential that they could potentially fulfill. Xaria is an interesting take on that, because she has fulfilled the potential, just not here.
Yeah.
The divergence in those 5 years between these two Xarias is the difference between being somebody and nobody.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting thing to chew on as a character. It gives her something to live up to, where it's not like Neo, who doesn't know if he's the one or not, right? Someone believes he's the one, but he might not be the one.
Yeah.
And for a period of time in the movie, he gets convinced that he's not. This time it's like, oh, is it still possible for me to become this person that apparently I could have been?
Yeah.
My mother-in-law says that her idea of heaven is getting to walk through the timeline of her life and see all the things that might have been in her life. I call that hell. I don't want that. I love my life. I'm very happy. I love my family. I love my work. I am so lucky in my life. I have so much to be happy about. But if you were to show me that if I had made a particular turn, I could have, like, saved the climate or something, if I wasn't already dead, I'd be begging for death.
Dylan, you can't have saved the climate.
I know, but
I'm letting you know right now.
I'm just trying to pick something unselfish, It's like, I don't want to, I'm pretty well taken care of here. I'm pretty set.
Yeah.
My point is that I think that it would be agony to be sitting with the proof that you are not the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that was, you crafted a lot of Xaria's journey. That's something that, but it's something that I got very attached to and enjoying, like, over time. Like, what is the core of this story that I think we can try and pin other characters' journeys to?
Yeah.
And try to make that a central theme of the story.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, I mean, even in that first scene in the first draft when we introduced Xaria, I was thinking about, okay, we're introducing Xaria. We know what she's like in the Prime universe, but now we have to see her pod universe self. And I was just like, oh, she's nobody.
Yeah.
Like, we should just make, in that universe, she's a resistance fighter. Well, here, there's not that thing to resist. So, let's just make her, laundry and Mountain Dew and asleep at her computer. And then that ended up being the perfect setup for this hero's journey that we set her on. And so now we should probably push ahead.
We should.
And see what happens with her.
I just want to say it's exciting there were moments in this writing process that were really hard, right? We talked about how hard this was. But I really appreciate your flexibility when, I would make an impulsive decision. And I wouldn't, outright decide it, be like, you know what we could do? Or, let's get rid of so-and-so. And I wasn't always great at communicating in a way that was not a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that you went along with me on some of this stuff.
Yeah, they ended up being the right ideas, I was just trying to grab everything on the table and put the pins,
Yeah, and I had no idea how to do that. So I could have. This feels like one where it's like I don't think that either of us could have come up with anything like this without the other.
Yeah, this was maximizing our teamwork. We were teamwork maxing on this one.
And with that,
let's go into Act 2. Act 2. Cut to Mr. D sitting in a grand office with a view of bustling Pod Universe Santa Clara, California behind him. He's on a glitchy video call with someone whose face is hard to make out through the digital static.
I hope you've called with better news this time. I don't stomach disappointment any better than you do. I'm well aware, darling. Can't you do anything about this dreadful connection? Patience, dear.
The signal clears up, and we can see now that Mr. D is on a call with Mr. D.
There. Happy now? I'll be happy when you've delivered the Hellnet AI as promised. How you managed to allow it and your Prime Universe's Xaria and Stephanie Lee to escape your grasp is beyond me. Need I remind you that my universe is an utter shambles, otherwise I'd have no need to transport myself to the Pod Universe in the first place? Your city streets are lined with networked cameras. Mine are littered with the dead and the derelict. Now that I've sent you the lion's share of my labor and security force to speed your construction that will be useless without the software you promised. Do mind your blood pressure, Vladimir. We're not young men, and if I wanted you dead, I could have used my pod technology to replace you years ago. I have, in fact, come bearing good news. I've been unable to recover the Hellnet in my universe, but I have an idea as to how we can acquire the next best thing.
Back at the Radio Shack, the gang buzzes around packing up clothes, computers, weapons, and other equipment into backpacks and rolling crates. In the center of it all stands Xaria, overwhelmed.
Hold on. We're leaving? I just got here.
Things move pretty fast around here.
Not fast enough. We've been gathering intel and playing defense for too long, and now we're out of time. We don't know how far along construction of that antenna is, and once it's finished, Alter can turn a whole city's population into obedient slaves.
Whoa. Let's slow down here. We don't have an army. We can't just pull up on Alter guns blazing.
Sableman Island.
Wait, what?
That's where you and Stephanie built the portal in the Prime Universe. When it spit me out, it was in the same spot here.
So you think Alter might be building theirs in the same spot, in our universe?
Cora nods.
Terrific. We'll just kayak over there with 100 pounds of Semtex and blow the thing up.
Okay, but unironically.
Can everyone just slow their roll for a second?
Xaria's right. Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to blow it up.
That's not what I...
Oh, I'm pretty in favor of blowing it up.
Think about it. That portal is the link between the universes. Prime Xaria already got a message to our side. Maybe we can get one back to them. Coordinate with the Xarians. We could finally have an army on our side.
This tech is unlike anything we've seen. What if we don't know how to use it?
Cora turns to Xaria.
Xaria can do it. She invented it in the first place.
Everyone stop!
Stephanie looks at Xaria with an eyebrow raised. Xaria puts her hands up.
Look, I'm grateful that you guys saved me from that Chernobyl orb or whatever, but I'm not who you think I am. I'm not some secret agent.
None of us were.
Yeah, but especially not me. I'm a basement coder. I dropped out of college freshman year. I'm an alcoholic. I can't fight. I can't shoot. I can't hack. My code sucks. If you need someone to make a mod for XCOM or post the home address of a senator, I'm your girl. Otherwise, I'm nobody.
You're more than that, Xaria. I mean, you made the Hellnet.
And she barely works.
But you can make her work. You've done it once already.
Kid, I'm not your Xaria. Look, I don't know you. Any of you, and it's apparent that you don't know me. So don't make the mistake of trusting me, and I won't make the mistake of trusting you.
She turns to leave the Radio Shack. Before she goes, she says over her shoulder,
Sorry you got stuck with the shitty me.
Once she's gone, the gang looks around at each other.
Vincent, you want to go?
Cora puts her hand up.
No, this one's on me.
Stephanie opens her mouth to object, but Cora's already on her way out of the Radio Shack. Cora finds Xaria pacing back and forth outside of what used to be an eyebrow threading kiosk.
Hey, how are you feeling?
Extremely perceived. Now I understand why celebrities go crazy and shave their heads.
Cora smiles.
Leave Brittany alone.
Xaria does not return the good humor.
Look, I'm sorry if I came on a little strong back there.
Don't be. It's my fault for being the poster child for don't meet your heroes.
I'm not disappointed if that's what you mean.
Xaria cocks an eyebrow.
Please, from the sound of it, you were expecting a genius freedom fighter.
Cora goes inside the kiosk and leans her forearms on the counter.
A year ago, I was just some tinkerer starving in a slum with 50 other obsolete hackers. No family, no friends that I could trust, just some half-assed ideas for how to save the world and a pile of parts that I managed to steal from whoever went missing that week. And then, to my own shock, it worked. And overnight, I became the most wanted person in the world, a genius freedom fighter, and all I could think was, why me?
Then hell, what do you need me for?
Cora shakes her head.
Through it all, I only ever had one North Star, and that was finding you.
This other version of me, she accomplished everything I ever wanted, everything I've tried to do and failed at. I wish I could just meet her and ask her how she did it.
You don't have to meet her. You are her. Maybe just not all the way yet.
Cut back to the Radio Shack. Stephanie, Willie, Caitlin, and Vincent are staging their gear to load out the back door. Enter Xaria apprehensively with Cora behind her. The gang turns to look.
I don't know if I can be exactly who you're all expecting. I'd love to just crawl back into bed and pretend like today never happened, but it's pretty clear that there's no safer place for me right now than with all of you. And
Xaria looks back at Cora, then to the room.
if there's a chance I can make a difference, then I should at least try.
All right. But don't start calling us the Xarians.
There's literally no chance of that happening.
Vincent steps forward to shake Zaria's hand.
I'm really glad you came around. Now all we got to do is get you chipped and we'll be ready to go. Caitlin?
Sure, no problem.
Wait, hold on. Chipped?
Smash cut to Xaria being plopped into an exam chair in what was once a lens crafter's, but is now Caitlin's personal neuroscience lab. Caitlin readies a device that looks like a cross between a tattoo gun and one of those hypo injectors from Lost.
Jesus Christ, you keep whatever the fuck that is away from me.
Easy, Xaria. Trust me, this is quick, painless, and a whole lot worse than what could happen if you don't do it.
Oh, please, let's explain what's worse than letting you put a needle in my head.
How about being instantly reprogrammed into a mindless killing machine?
Like what happened to Dolly? Like they're trying to do with that tripod?
Caitlin nods.
Alter's been using a new variant of their wormhole technology to overwrite a target's brain patterns with that of a programmable AI. In mere seconds, they can turn anyone into a living weapon, a drone dedicated solely to whatever simple task Alter chooses to input.
And you had something to do with that, didn't you?
Yes. Well, the other me. But I don't take much comfort in that distinction. I'm sure that the Prime Universe version of Dr. Caitlin Wheeler didn't feel like she had much choice. Like most people in her world, she was probably poor, desperate, scared. I'd like to think I'm different, but here I am. Plenty scared, certainly desperate, and raising my 3-year-old son in an abandoned shopping mall. If there ever was any difference between me and her, there doesn't seem to be much now.
Caitlin drifts away into thought for a moment.
So, this chip.
Right. Raleigh's father, my husband Grant, he was an early test subject of the neural rewriting technology.
Xaria cocks an eyebrow.
Test subject?
Victim, really. After what happened to him, I knew I needed to develop some kind of countermeasure. I'm going to install a small scanning device at your brainstem. It'll constantly record and monitor your brain activity. If it senses any sudden, unexplained variation, it'll use tiny electrical charges to nudge your neurons back where they're supposed to be.
So I'm drone-proof.
Exactly.
You all have these chips in your head.
Caitlin turns around and lifts her hair up, revealing a small, exposed metallic implant in the back of her neck.
Mine's a more sophisticated model that I installed back when I was in the neural interface business, but yes, we all have them.
Even your son?
Yes, even my son.
Xaria exhales, then pulls her hair up, exposing her neck. Caitlin readies the injector. She pushes the trigger, and Xaria winces.
That's it?
That's it.
Xaria sits up and rubs at her neck.
Don't do that. So, the Hellnet sounds similar to my work.
In what way?
Well, you're trying to build a digital program that thinks like a brain. I work on mapping brains into digital programs. Sounds like we're working on the same problem from opposite ends.
Or it sounds like they're opposite problems.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to minimize your work. But, if you want me to take a look at your code, I might have some suggestions.
No, thank you. I mean, I prefer to write my own code.
Oh, yeah, sure. Just, if you ever want to pick my brain.
They're suddenly interrupted by an enormous explosion. The walls shake, and Caitlin's tools spill onto the floor.
The fuck?
Xaria and Caitlin run out of the lens crafters to see that one of the mall's entrances has been blown wide open. A woman walks through the cloud of dust, looking confident and unbothered. It's Mitra Bhandari, played in the film by Richa Morjani. All right, kids, playtime is over. We've got the entrances all covered. Turn yourselves in peacefully, and maybe we'll offer you jobs. Otherwise, we can always, kill you. Caitlin looks terrified.
Raleigh.
She turns and runs. Xaria follows. They burst into the radio shack at full speed. Willie immediately returns Raleigh to Caitlin's arms, then goes to grab a gun from his duffel bag. Stephanie is there already, loading a rifle.
Pack light, we have to stay agile. Grab as much ammo as you can run with.
She looks over at Vincent, who doesn't have any guns. Instead, he's tossing a stack of hardcover books into his backpack.
Vincent, leave the books. Read on your phone like an adult.
Another explosion from nearby.
Okay, gang, we move as a unit. I'll be in front, Willie in the rear. Everyone else stay close around Caitlin and Raleigh in the middle.
Everyone moves into position except Xaria, who just looks at them in stunned disbelief. Cora nudges her to her senses and she falls in. Stephanie leads the pack quietly out of the radio shack and up 2 unmoving escalators leading up to a mezzanine.
So, I don't suppose you guys have a helicopter waiting on the roof?
Not in the budget, unfortunately.
They get to the mezzanine with its glass barriers giving them a clear view of the altar forces at the first floor exits on either side of the mall.
Stay low.
They crouch down, but the glass gives them no cover. It only takes a moment for an altar goon to shout,
"Visual! Mezzanine bridge!"
The agents open fire from either side, bullets shattering the glass around them. Caitlin screams and covers Raleigh's head.
Go, go!
They run across the walkway to another set of escalators and sprint up them to the upper floor. As soon as they reach the top, windows shatter on either side of them. They look around and see 2 altar agents on each side rappelling in from the roof. Stephanie and Willie open fire at them before they can get their bearings. The agents dive for cover.
Fuck!
What now?
Stephanie looks around, desperate. Then Willie manages to shoot one of the agents in the kidney, sending him to the ground. This gets Steph back on track.
Weak side, go!
The group moves towards the window where the agent just went down. The second agent has taken cover behind a kiosk. Willie and Stephanie rain bullets down on him, obliterating most of the kiosk. They stop firing. The agent is still hiding. Stephanie puts up a hand and the group stops moving. She silently raises her rifle, aiming just above the kiosk. After a long moment, the agent appears, rising to take his shot. Stephanie gets him between the eyes before he can pull the trigger. They hear bootsteps echoing through the halls.
Come on, we gotta move fast. Willie, you go first and provide cover for everyone else.
Go first where?
Stephanie grabs the rappelling rope and holds it out to him. He goes pale.
Oh, God.
Stephanie shrugs and clips a carabiner to Willie's belt. He squeezes his eyes shut tight and hops out the window. He lands on the pavement outside and looks around. He's just 10 yards behind Mitra and her goons, who are standing looking into the mall instead of behind them where Willie stands. Willie looks up at Stephanie on the second floor and puts a finger to his lips. One by one, the rest of the group slides down to the ground, Stephanie last. She gestures to an empty armored truck in the parking lot just behind them. They move silently toward it until a voice calls out from the second floor window.
"Subject spotted in the south parking lot!"
Mitra speaks into her walkie. "You idiot, I'm in the south parking lot." Then it dawns on her, and she turns around.
Go!
They make a break for it. Vincent gets behind the wheel with Stephanie at shotgun, leaning out the window and firing at the agents. Everyone else gathers in the back of the truck.
In the back of the stolen truck, Xaria tries to keep her cool amidst the sound of Willie's gunfire and Vincent's erratic driving. They pull onto a highway, a second altar truck not far behind.
We're supposed to escape in one of their trucks? This thing's probably got a GPS. They'll just track us down.
Stephanie pulls her head back in from the front passenger window to respond.
Not if Cora shuts it off. Cora!
On it.
Cora pulls a tablet out of her backpack and unspools a USB cable she's got looped on her belt, connecting the tablet to a port in the car's center console. Cora starts typing away into a terminal window. The car rocks as the back door is dented by incoming rifle fire. Willie tries to aim a shot through the back window, but ducks right before the window shatters. Raleigh starts screaming and crying. Caitlin holds him close, but can't calm him down. Cora shakes her head. On her tablet, the car's software is taking forever to decompile.
This is too slow. Caitlin, can you lend me some processing power?
Pairing.
Caitlin holds out the crying Raleigh right in Xaria's face. She recoils like the kid was a rabid squirrel.
Take him.
What?
I am trusting you with my child. Take him.
Xaria doesn't so much accept Raleigh as she catches him when Caitlin lets go. Caitlin parts her hair at the back of her neck, exposing the cybernetic implant beneath. She presses her finger against it until it lights up blue.
You see me?
Cora opens the tablet's Bluetooth connections. A new peripheral appears, labeled Kate PU. She connects.
Got it.
Caitlin's eyes flutter. Her face twitches. It looks painful. On the display, the decompilation job speeds up substantially.
Come on.
Caitlin's body seizes. She isn't breathing.
What's happening to her?
The job is completed, and an enormous codebase opens on Cora's screen.
Done.
Cora disconnects from Kate PU. That very moment, Caitlin takes a sharp breath in, then starts coughing violently. Xaria, without realizing it, is now swaying Raleigh and patting him on the back.
It's okay. She's gonna be okay.
Then to Caitlin.
You said my chip doesn't do that, right?
Stephanie points to a break in the highway's metal guardrail, which leads to a dirt forest trail.
Vincent, take us off-road!
Vincent cranks the wheel and the truck nearly tumbles as it makes the harsh right turn into the forest. Behind them, the second truck does flip over, but lands back on its wheels and then pursues into the woods, having fallen a good 20 seconds behind.
That's not gonna do us much good if the tracker's still working. Cora, how's it coming?
I've never seen this encryption before. I'm not sure it existed in my universe. Can you look at it?
Before Steph can answer, the second truck bursts through the foliage to pull up alongside, just out her window. She readies her weapon and fires suppressing fire.
I'm busy! Figure it out!
Cora, sweating bullets, turns to Xaria.
Xaria, you can crack it.
What? I don't want to.
Cora picks up Raleigh and shoves the tablet into Xaria's lap.
Stop handing me things!
More gunfire peppers the outside of the truck. Willie looks up and sees that the truck has a sunroof.
Vincent! I need some air!
What?
I said, I need some air!
He gestures broadly at the sunroof. Vincent's eyes are on the road. Caitlin yells with a throat hoarse from her ordeal.
Open the sunroof!
That, Vincent understands. As it slides open, Willie mutters,
Everyone else gets to talk cool.
He pops his head out, raises his rifle, and takes a few pot shots at the truck's front driver's side window. The driver veers away, now slightly obscured by the trees. On Xaria's eyes, looking back and forth at the lines of code. Finally, a pop-up. GPS tracking disabled.
Got it.
Vincent, 180!
Vincent pulls a hard turn through unplowed earth. The truck pulls onto a new road, diverging from their pursuer's path. From above, we see the twin vehicles speed off in opposite directions. Everyone lets out their sounds of relief. Sighs of exhaustion from Caitlin as Cora passes Raleigh back to her arms. Hoots and hollers from Willie and Steph. Xaria and Cora share a proud smile. Cut to a foggy dock on a rocky coast at nightfall. The armored truck pulls up to a simple wooden dock, where there awaits a mid-sized fishing boat, big enough to have a cabin. Compare in size to the Orca from Jaws. The headlights illuminate the name on the aft hull, the Cliché. The gang steps out of the truck, led by Stephanie. Two men step off the boat and start walking towards them. As they emerge through the fog, we see that it's Bill Malton and Arthur Tusett, played in the film by John Goodman and John Malkovich, and in this reading by Abe Goldfarb and Dalton DeShane. Cora runs past the group and throws her arms around them in a tight group hug.
Thank you for coming.
Any excuse to keep this old thing from rusting on the dock.
Stephanie cocks her eye at the boat.
The Cliché.
Let me guess. Arthur named it.
It was a compromise. I wanted to call it the reverse mortgage, but it wouldn't fit on the registry.
Next stop, Sableman Island.
Cora gives Arthur a kiss on the cheek before hurrying on board. Xaria leans in to talk to Stephanie.
Who are these guys?
Cora's dads. Well, they're doppelgangers anyway.
So they just met too? Could have fooled me.
Stick with us long enough, you're bound to do some trauma bonding too. Speaking of...
Vincent struggles to lift his bag full of textbooks. Willie leans down and picks it up for him. They smile at each other a little too long.
Thanks.
Willie shrugs casually.
Gotta make use of this body somehow, right?
He doesn't wink. The not winking is more suggestive. He walks off. Vincent gulps. Stephanie notices this as she passes by and smirks. Cut to the boat at sea. Moonlight reflects off the ocean. Bill is at the wheel above the cabin. Aft, Arthur sits in a rocking chair, rocking a peacefully sleeping Raleigh. Xaria sits at the bow, looking at the horizon, thinking about the future. In the cabin, Cora, Caitlin, and Willie are taking a turn dozing. Vincent and Stephanie sit outside the cabin door, drinking bottles of cliché ale, whose label is a painting of Arthur and the slogan, "None for me, thanks."
I mean, would it even count as cheating if...
No, stop. If you have to ask if it's cheating, then it's cheating.
But he's your boyfriend. Just, from another universe and hot swapped into a Hollywood hard body. And besides, aren't gay relationships open by default?
No. We've never discussed it.
Haha!
Besides, my Liam is still in the picture. He's our guy on the outside. Just because he's not here doesn't mean we broke up.
Stephanie wanders towards the bow, beer in hand.
Xaria, what do you think?
I think your friend group already has enough drama.
Touche. I'm starting to see why we're friends. I mean, the other we, the other us. But that's what I'm talking about. It's a distinction without a difference. I mean, look at you. Yesterday you thought you were a loser. Now you know what you're capable of. It's all just a matter of circumstance.
Stephanie claps her on the back. Xaria frowns.
I'm gonna get another beer.
She winks at Vincent.
I'll be sure to talk you up to your not boyfriend.
Stephanie goes into the cabin. Xaria turns to look at Vincent, who has pulled out one of his books and is leafing through it, looking for something.
So, you're not one of our gun guys, huh?
Vincent answers without looking up.
I kind of lost the taste for it after shooting my dad.
Yikes. Sorry I asked. So what are you reading?
Everything I can about the multiverse, quantum mechanics, wormholes, dark matter, all the stuff we now know definitely exists, but scientists don't seem to know anything about. It's all just theories and thought experiments.
Doesn't seem all that theoretical to me.
Exactly. It's not theory for Alter, both here and in the Prime universe. They figured it all out, and that gives them the advantage.
So what have you found? How do we beat them?
I'm working on it.
Vincent finally looks up.
You saw Lano Bright, didn't you?
Excuse me?
The man in the gray suit, black, handsome, in a noir detective kind of way, watching you from a distance.
Oh, yeah. He's not with you?
Not sure. I thought I was the only one who'd seen him.
Who is he?
One of the many mysteries I'm trying to solve. He doesn't talk much. I didn't learn his name until the third time he appeared. But every time he shows up, he helps me, nudges me in the right direction.
Maybe an Alter double agent?
No, the things he knows. They're not company secrets. It's more like he knows what's coming next.
Cool, so he's psychic.
Nothing in my research has led me to believe in that just yet. However, there's a chance he could be, detached from time.
Right, because that's way more scientific.
Vincent shrugs.
I have a feeling we'll be seeing him again. And if we do, I think it's best that we listen.
Cut to a couple hours later. Willie shakes Xaria awake.
Jesus, what time is it?
4 a.m. Time to move out.
A few minutes later, Xaria, Vincent, Stephanie, Cora, and Willie climb down into a motorized raft. Bill, Arthur, and Caitlin see them off, Raleigh fast asleep in Caitlin's arms. They jet quietly through the water toward the island. The stars are all blocked by dense cloud cover. In the distance behind them, lightning flashes and thunder rolls. They pull ashore and drag the raft into some bushes, then proceed silently inland. It's not long before they come across a dirt road, which leads to a paved parking lot that pools out like a lagoon in front of a massive wall of steel and glass. The Alter facility stretches wide in either direction until it curves away from them, seemingly endless in size.
Well, that wasn't here last time. How did they build it so fast? It looks almost finished.
Construction goes faster when your workforce is either enslaved or completely reprogrammed.
Did we bring enough explosives to demolish that?
Not even close. But it doesn't change the plan. We go in, try to send a message, and we do as much damage as we can on our way out. It's a secret, isolated facility in the dead of night, so hopefully resistance should be minimal.
How do we get in?
The front door.
As they approach, two glass doors as tall as a castle gate slide open with a soft hiss. The entrance hall is a clinical white, cavernous, fluorescent, and eerily empty. A transparent glass screen stands freely in the middle of the room, showing a brightly colored map of the facility. The building appears to be a perfect circle wrapping around an enormous empty space. Stephanie gives it a few taps and zooms, then isolates a small red room about 90 degrees around the circle from them.
Here, let's go.
They fall into their tactical grouping, with Stephanie in front and Willie in back, guns drawn.
Why is it so empty?
They're on an island in the middle of nowhere. Who would they need to guard against?
Us, apparently.
I don't think they consider us a real threat.
Not yet, anyway.
The good news is that there's nobody around for them to turn into drones.
Stephanie puts a finger to her lips. They're approaching the security door. Willie and Stephanie brace themselves against the wall on either side and peer in. There's a security guard sitting at a console, eyes half closed. Stephanie nods at Vincent. He pries the plastic cover off the keycard scanner, yanks some wires out, and connects it to a DIY doodad from his backpack. The lights on the scanner turn green.
Ready?
Willie nods. They open the door and storm in.
All right, backs against the wall.
The security guard stands and puts his hands up for a moment, then goes for his gun. Stephanie doesn't hesitate and puts a bullet in his head.
Jesus, Steph!
The world's at stake, Willie. Play to win or don't play.
Willie looks at Vincent for help. Vincent just shrugs, unmoved, and goes to the console. Stephanie leans over Vincent's shoulder.
What have you got?
Like we've suspected, they've got a skeleton crew on the night shift. Most of the sentries are stationed at the portal itself.
Can you transmit anything from here?
What they lack in human security, they make up for in electronic safeguards. The only terminal tied directly into the antenna is mounted about 15 stories up the tower.
Any more info on the tripods?
I don't have full network access from here, only local security controls.
Okay, so we head to the antenna and prepare for some resistance.
Not quite that easy. They've cut the power to the tripod hardware, likely because of the storm. They don't want any surges frying their sensitive tech. I can restore it manually from here, but it will auto shut off every 2 minutes unless there's someone to keep it on.
You cool staying here and manning the power?
Yeah. You guys go ahead and radio when you're ready.
Stephanie nods. Willie looks at him anxiously.
Do you want me to leave you a gun?
I'll be okay.
Xaria also gives him a worried look. Vincent just nods at her. The four of them roll out.
Cut to the cliche, parked in the dark ocean. The storm is growing closer. Bill and Arthur sit side by side, watching it. Arthur leans his head against Bill's shoulder, and Bill responds by putting his hand on the side of Arthur's head and stroking his thumb behind his ear. Back to Vincent, alone in the security office. He scrolls through numbered video feeds, most of them empty, showing offices and labs and hallways. Then a sudden face makes him jump. Staring directly into the camera, so close we can't even see where he is a man in his 20s with well-coiffed hair and a devil's sneer. This is Kenny Clausen, performed in the film by Lucas Gage and in this reading by Abe Goldfarb. Kenny presses a finger to his lips, then steps back from the camera to reveal that he's standing in the middle of a conference room. He holds up 9 fingers. Vincent quickly toggles to camera 9, and the screen shows a video feed that catches him off guard. It's not from the compound. It's inside the living room of a small, messy apartment. Laying across a couch, gaming but looking bored, is Liam.
No.
Vincent flicks back to Kenny's channel. Now he's holding up 10 fingers. Vincent goes to channel 10. It's a night vision feed through the scope of a rifle, aimed across a street and through the window into Liam's apartment.
No! Liam!
Vincent checks Kenny's channel again. Kenny, still smiling, beckons him to come hither. Vincent toggles up a map of the facility and matches the feed label to a room. He memorizes the layout and bolts out of the room.
Cut to Xaria, Stephanie, Willie, and Cora. They step out of the facility into that big circular negative space in the middle of it. It's an enormous outdoor platform, like the portal we saw in the Prime universe, about 100 times the size. But that's not what makes their jaws drop. 3 legs as wide as grain silos stretch from the edges of the circle up to a point directly above the center of it. Mounted on this tripod is a round steel structure as tall as a skyscraper, stretching up and narrowing into an antenna so far above them they can barely see it.
Jesus Christ.
They're all in awe, barely more than ants at its feet. Thunder rumbles in the distance. Cora points up to the platform where the legs meet, 15 stories up.
There! A hardware access terminal.
They couldn't make it a little easier to get to?
Hey!
They turn to see 2 alter agents running toward them, reaching for the guns at their hips. They take cover behind the nearest leg. The agents open fire, and Willie and Stephanie fire back, taking them out.
Willie, you stay down here and take care of any reinforcements, yeah?
He nods.
And the rest of us?
Stephanie grabs a rung of a ladder leading up the angled leg of the tripod.
We climb.
She puts her feet on the ladder and starts up. Xaria looks high, trying to see the top of the tripod. A raindrop lands on her forehead.
Wait,
Stephanie pauses.
this thing's basically a giant lightning rod. I don't think we want to be on it when the storm hits.
The three of them look out at the horizon, where lightning still flashes. After a delay, the thunder hits.
Then we better move fast.
She resumes climbing.
Vincent, be ready to turn the power back on.
Cut to Vincent walking cautiously through the halls of the facility. We hear Stephanie faintly in his earpiece.
Vincent!
Yeah, I'll be ready.
Vincent enters the conference room. Inside, waiting at the head of the table, is Kinney.
Kinney, what do you want?
Oh, nothing. Just keeping an eye on my old roommate. Did you really think we didn't know you two were still in touch? Poor guy. He's been pretty lonely since you left.
You've got a gun to his head and you've got me here. You gonna name your terms or what?
Stand down. Radio your gal pals and tell them to climb off of our tower and surrender themselves.
You think I'll betray my whole world for one man?
For the right man, sure. He is the right man, isn't he? I couldn't help but notice you've got a spare William on deck.
Vincent stands firm.
Come on, Vincent. You've got no cards here. It's a handful of nerds against the world. So let's do this the easy way.
Kinney holds up his cell phone.
And avoid the hard way altogether.
What are you doing?
One text to my sniper, and Liam's brains are spray paint.
Vincent struggles to retain his composure.
Killing Liam won't stop Stephanie from getting into the tower system.
No, but the choppers will.
Choppers?
Come on, man. We got facial ID from you while you were still in the water. The cavalry's almost arrived from the mainland, and with your friends about halfway through their climb, well, the phrase sitting ducks comes to mind.
We pan down to Vincent's hand, which is pressing the talk button on the walkie-talkie in his back pocket.
Cut to Stephanie, hearing this from her perch halfway up the tripod leg.
Sounds like Vincent went on a little field trip.
Cora and Xaria look up from beneath her.
Should we turn back?
I don't hear any propellers yet.
Stephanie brushes her hair out of her face.
We might not. That storm's right on their ass, but also means they're gonna have a hell of a time holding still long enough to shoot us. Let's just hurry to the terminal.
Hurrying isn't gonna help if Vincent isn't here to turn the power on.
Stephanie starts climbing with renewed intensity.
Vincent! Gonna need you to get your ass back to that security office ASAP!
Cut back to Vincent hearing this in his earpiece in the conference room. Vincent stands on the opposite side of the table from Kinney. Kinney is resting his elbow on the table, holding his cell phone over it.
Now do you see? This fight was over before it began. Give yourselves over, and I promise we won't kill you. The new world's gonna need good coders.
Fuck you.
Vincent kicks the leg out of the conference table as hard as he can. It jerks forward, the edge of it hitting Kinney in the chest. His elbow slides for the table, falling forward. The phone hits the wood and flies out of his hand, sliding halfway across. Vincent leaps onto the table a half second before Kinney. He fumbles with the phone, but Kinney smacks his hand before he gets a grip. The phone flies onto the carpet, away from both of them. Vincent launches himself onto the ground. He grabs the phone and slams the screen into the sharp wooden corner of the table, smashing it. Kinney roars and stands on top of the table, pulling a gun from the back of his waistband. Vincent slides under the table. Kinney fires down into it. The bullets punch through the wood and into the floor behind Vincent as he scrambles along its length. When he gets to the other end, he throws his shoulder into the table leg, jolting it again. Kinney falls on his face. He grabs the edge of the table and pulls himself off it, just as Vincent is sliding out from under it. Kinney lands on top of Vincent, and they grapple for control. Stephanie pops up in Vincent's ear.
Vincent! Vincent!
Kinney gets the gun up and points it at Vincent's face. Vincent jerks his head away and pushes the gun just as he pulls the trigger. The bullet embeds itself in the floor just inches from Vincent's head. Stephanie's voice is drowned out by the ringing in his ears.
Vincent!
Cut to Stephanie climbing up onto the platform where the tripod's legs meet. The wind is violent up here, whipping at her clothes. It's raining now.
Shit! Willie! Vincent!
On my way.
Cut to Willie crouched behind a tripod leg and firing wild shots at a trio of agents at the facility doors. He sprays some cover fire, then makes a break for the building. Back up on the platform, Xaria, Cora, and Stephanie gather at the terminal. It's completely inert. No power. Xaria looks out at the lightning growing closer.
How long do we give him?
As long as it takes.
Back to the conference room. Kinney wrestles Vincent to the floor. All four hands are on the gun. Kinney gets the high ground, slowly overpowering Vincent to aim the gun at Vincent's head.
Don't worry. Your boyfriend won't be far behind you!
A bullet caves in Kinney's face. He teeters over. Standing in the doorway, smoking gun in hand, is Willie. He rushes to Vincent and offers him a hand up. Vincent looks up at him, a little shocked.
Vincent, we gotta go. Come on.
Vincent takes his hand.
Cut to Stephanie looking out at the storm. Lightning cracks just offshore of the island. The thunder is immediate and loud enough to shake the tripod. In its wake, the sound of helicopter blades.
Cut to Vincent and Willie sprinting through the hall for the security office. Vincent runs inside, types a few commands, and restores power to the tower.
On the platform, the terminal suddenly comes to life and starts to boot up. The three women grin.
Cora, Xaria, do your thing.
Cora cracks open a panel on the side of the terminal.
It's currently wired to only transfer from them to us, but I should be able to reverse it.
How much time?
90 seconds?
Xaria, access the network in the meantime, grab as many files as you can, focus on ones related to Project Tripod.
On it.
Caitlin, be ready for a big data transfer heading your way.
Cut to Caitlin in the cabin of the Cliché. The storm has arrived for her. The boat sways in the choppy water, and the heavy rain is like a roar on the cabin's roof. Raleigh sleeps through it all on a cot behind Caitlin.
Standing by.
Back on the platform, Xaria is scrolling through files.
Stephanie, come take a look at this.
What is it?
Am I reading this wrong?
Oh, shit.
In the security office, Vincent sits up straight.
What? What is it?
Well, we know how many tripods there are now. Any bets? Closest without going over?
8? 10?
Cora looks up from her work.
6?
Well, nobody's going over.
Stephanie sighs.
42. 42 tripods spread out all over the globe.
Cut between everyone, stunned into silence. The girls on the platform are shaken out of it when lightning strikes an antenna on the facility behind them.
Cora, if you don't hurry, we're getting fried.
Got it. Done.
Xaria pulls her laptop out of her backpack and connects it to the terminal. She opens the Hellnet.
Hella, send a message to my own address, but route it through the Prime U terminal.
Understood. What would you like to say?
Xaria looks to the other two.
What do I say?
Stephanie is wrapping a rappelling rope around the tower.
I don't know, but do it fast.
Cora looks up at her and shrugs. Xaria freezes with her fingers arched over the keyboard.
Xaria, now!
Fuck!
She hurriedly types SOS, then signs it Pod X Steph Cora. She hits enter and sends the message off.
Done!
She slams the laptop shut and puts it in her backpack.
Great.
Stephanie clips the carabiner on Zaria's belt and pushes her over the edge. Xaria free falls, screaming, then flails her arms towards the rope and manages to get a grip. She slides down to the ground. Cora follows, also getting rope burn, and then finally Stephanie. The second Stephanie unclips her carabiner, lightning strikes the top of the tower above them. The electricity shoots through the rope. It cracks and whips out wildly, just barely missing the girls. Its end hits the side of the facility and the glass wall explodes into shattered fragments. Vincent and Willie run over to them, pointing into the sky. Helicopters are circling around the facility. Agents lean out of the sides and ready their rifles.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
The helicopters open fire on the platform as the group runs for the hole in the side of the building. Cut to Caitlin in the cabin of the Cliché. She's got a folder of stolen files open, using the down arrow to preview them one by one. There are seemingly thousands. One of the files listed in the directory catches her eye. Goodkin _G _ 2026 04 02.
Grant?
Cut to the exterior of the facility, watching from above as Stephanie, Vincent, Cora, Xaria, and Willie make their exit across the parking lot. Searchlights scan the ground on either side of them, trying to find them in the downpour. Eventually, the helicopters give up and turn back to try to make a safe landing on the roof of the facility.
Back to the Cliché. Caitlin fights tears as she examines the file with her husband's name.
Oh my God, Grant. Is that really you in there?
There's a ringing sound in Caitlin's ear. Not in her ear, deeper than that. She clutches her head like from a sudden, terrible migraine. Yes, my dear.
Grant?
No. Caitlin places the voice in space and swivels hard to face a nearby chair, where she finds Mr. D sitting comfortably. She panics and falls backwards out of her seat. Cut briefly to the deck of the ship, where the storm is too loud for Bill or Arthur to hear the commotion. Back to Caitlin's station below. Mr. D chuckles to himself. Lightning strikes outside, and he appears to glitch out of existence for a moment. Don't be frightened, child. I'm not here. I'm in your head, thanks to that ingenious neural implant of yours. Impressive hardware, inadequate security measures.
Where are you?
From now on, wherever you are. More importantly, who I am is the only person who can reunite you with your late husband, at least in the land of the living. The complete, functioning computer model of Grant Goodkin, the model you saved in the moments before his death, his very soul, solely in my possession. Caitlin gets back to her feet.
What do you want?
Mr. D sneers. Tell me, Dr. Wheeler, would you give the world for the one you love? End of part 1.
And that's part 1 of War of the Worlds. Tune in next week for the thrilling conclusion.
Yeah, we are at the midpoint. We've set up a lot of dominoes.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments, on the Discord, on social media, how you're feeling so far about War of the Worlds. And you can leave us predictions if you want.
We can't read them anymore, but
we'll have recorded that
we'd
long
love to
ago.
read them on
But
social
we'll enjoy
media.
them
We
anyway.
won't read them on air.
Yes.
I think there's a good example here that we can now give of what we're talking about at the beginning of me just trying to put all the pieces together and you coming in and cleaning things up, which is that initially in the draft I wrote of this final action set piece,
which is really fun, by the way.
Yes, I'm proud of the sort of ticking clock of the thunderstorm
coming
and things
through
like
on
that,
this big metal conductor.
Yeah, that was fun. But I mean, one thing that we talked about a lot in this was minimizing the amount of gunfights in corporate offices.
Yes, we've
were like,
done that already.
We have to come up with new action set pieces that are not gunfights in corporate offices. And so trying to come up, because look, this is a sci-fi cinematic universe, and we've had one Alien movie already. I don't think it's too much spoilers to say, after this phase, we're going to be getting a lot wilder, I think.
Yes.
But this phase was definitely very earthbound and grounded. This is not the dark universe where everyone has magic powers, right?
Most of our guys have kind of the same skill sets, and they're not action things. Which is why, like, Stephanie goes all into, I am an action hero now. She has gone full Sarah Connor mode, right? And Willie, you know, was trained to be this, barely trained, right? To be this security guard and given like this hunk action hero body. And he's just trying to play the part that he looks.
But he has no idea how to use that body or a gun.
Yes.
But
by default, he's like, I guess I have to be an action guy now.
Yeah, but everyone is human. And so, you know, with a lot of tech world, the espionage stuff that we were doing, we were just like, we just can't repeat gunfights in corporate buildings. And so I wanted a big action set piece, and let's unveil one of the tripods unfinished, you know, and set up all these other things in motion. So, but during that, initially, Kinney did not have a camera on Liam. Instead, he had Vincent's mother held hostage because we revealed back in Pod People that Vincent's mom is still alive, but he hasn't reunited with her yet. And by still alive, I mean the Prime Universe version over here in a different body.
The version that raised him technically died of cancer, but a woman who has all of the memories of having done that, but is in the body of Jamie Lawson.
Yes.
She's around.
And we didn't know if we wanted to address that. And so I put her as sort of the bargaining chip to get Vincent out of the security office. And then you were like, okay, but what are we going to do with her? And I was like, I don't know. She'll come back at the end. And like, we can have more of them later, but like, you know, she can come back. And you rightfully were like, it's just too much stuff, you know? And so you had the idea of making it Liam, and we pulled back and refocused that to a character we already have in the movie, that we already have plans for the rest of the movie, and that ended up cleaning up a lot of things.
I'm happy that you're happy with it. I definitely was like, you know, that I am, from my prior life as a film critic, I had to go see a lot of Marvel and Marvel-like movies and deal with the same problem with a lot of them over and over again, which is so much of this movie is not about this movie. And so that was always first and foremost in my mind here. I really want every chapter in our pod universe to be as self-contained as possible. And so some of that just meant that we had to set aside threads that we'd left in like Pod People, for example, that we had every intention of picking back up here, because there just wasn't room to make that part of this story without undercutting the value of that character. Plus, I mean, we had some ideas of what we wanted to do with Liam, but this created some urgency on getting him back into the story.
Yeah.
So, as I think often we found that as we're writing stories like this, when you run into a story problem, often solving one problem you can solve one problem with another problem.
Yeah.
You know, you replace this piece that doesn't all the way fit with a different piece that doesn't all the way fit, and then those two pieces that were on opposite sides of this thing turns out they can fit together a little bit better.
Yeah.
Thank you for the compliment, I guess. Yeah. And I like the choices that we've made.
Yeah, I think it ended up, especially as we continued to develop that idea in the rest of Act 2 and onwards, it ended up being the right choice. Now, that being said, Vincent's mom, still a dangling thread that we do have to deal with.
Yes, we do.
I don't think we can't leave her alive at the end of Pod People and then never deal with that again.
Yeah,
We're not gonna,
I have plans.
Great. Well, Dylan's got it covered,
See you in
so
phase
I don't have
2.
to think about it. But that's it for part 1. Let's not keep you any longer. In 1 week, we'll be back with the rest of the story. The cast will be back. We'll talk about more expectations and things. And
let's have a big round of applause to the whole cast. We'll do a proper curtain call for everybody at the end of part 2 once we have the whole cast in the mix. If you're watching the video version, all of their faces and headshots are showing up on the screen right now. All the credits are in the description in there. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. Again, we'll do proper laurels for everybody at the end of part 2.
But let's give some laurels to the people who paid us instead of the people we paid, which is our patrons.
This episode has been brought to you by our wonderful patrons who support the show at patreon.com/Dylan and Dalton, where you can start a 7-day free trial today and get not only our bonus pod, but director's cuts from all of the previous stories in this saga.
Yep.
By director's cuts, we mean they're basically just the movie parts of the show with none of our yammering in between, and plus sometimes other scenes that we had to cut for time restored back in, and other little exciting nuggets and bonuses.
Music cues.
And for that, we must thank our $15 a month executive producers. That's Brian Egan, Diana, Jonathan Morgantini, Mar Bendlar, Mark Schmidt, Matt Thackeray, Michael Cox, Michael Mancilis, Mike Lee Whiplash, and Tucker. And a big thanks to our studio executives at the $25 a month level, who, in addition to this shout out, also get to nominate films that we talk about on our bonus pod, where we have to do sort of improvised loose pitches of remakes of existing movies and make them fit into one of the universes that we've developed on our show. Those studio executives are Alyssa the Pazuzu Apologist, Barry M. Carr, Bijou Daye, Bill French, Beerus, Brent Dreyer, Dracatella, Grown Man Jealous of a Moose, Jasper Stark, Joe Valiant, Joseph Angel, Moose! Aren't you jealous? Robert Strychek, Soonmop, Speep, and The Wayfinder. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for your patience. It's actually very encouraging that in the time that we had the delay to get this episode out, we actually have a couple new studio executives.
Amazing.
We're really grateful to you guys.
People are having fun over with the bonus pod and the studio mandates and stuff.
And the community, as always, on the Discord is thriving with people doing their own readings. People essentially in the community of this show do their own little version of the show on the Discord, where someone will have scheduled on our calendar that they're going to read a script. They all they assign parts to each other. They read it through. They do feedback. I love to pop my head in and participate when I can. Can't go to even close to all of them.
Yeah, there's multiple every week. But yeah, join in patreon.com/Dylan and Dalton. 7-day free trial, $5 a month to just join in on the fun. Talk about this episode with other fans. Talk about the dark universe with other fans. Whatever you want.
Yeah, if you're new to this, pop back to episode 1 and start with Pod People and go through all of these stories so you get a little bit more context. And also, we think they're good.
Yeah.
When we don't think they're good, we tell each other about it on the
air. When this is all wrapped up, there will also be the director's cut of this movie. So if you just want to hear the movie all the way through without our yammering, you can do that. Plus, we'll do bonus materials like a score.
Yes. The score that you've been hearing under that's by me. I do that. And I also have been releasing them online as score albums you can listen to.
And we'll also have deleted scenes, some of them recorded. And I think we'll probably put up the first draft of the first act.
I think that will be fun.
I think we have it
think we have to wait until, when we're done with
we're done with everything. When both parts are out.
There's still some stuff in there that might spoil where we go.
Yes, of course, yeah. But yeah, join in on that. And we will see you in 1 week for War of the Worlds Part 2. And let's announce now, we're not going to be taking a break between seasons.
Right, we've had our break.
We've
Dalton
had
the honeymoon and the flood disaster. We're going to go from this, and then part 2, and then the episode that we banked from before we wrote the script.
The planning episode.
Then we're going to go right into our phase 2 slate reveal. We have already figured out our projects for next season.
Yep.
And we will do that episode along with some Q&A from you guys. We're not taking any time off in between those.
Yes.
We're going right in.
So now's a great time to join the pod universe. And until next time,
don't climb any metal objects during a thunderstorm unless it's really, 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 really important.
Yeah. Like to the saving your universe style important. All right. See you next time.
Bye.